Okay, so some interesting upbeat music for the group to get them in the mood for, well, what's about to happen next. So, tonight online we'll start with M.
Hello, I play Druza, your ever-friendly buff orc, occasionally goes by Flex One Arm. I've had a little bit of a hard time this week. Both my dogs are now zombies. I didn't defeat my arch enemy. So he's feeling a little bit down, a little bit sad. And he has 121 days left to live as of the morning by myself and fellas.
Hey, what's a curse between friends? Which brings us to Mark.
I'm not sure.
Hi.
You could have got a friend.
Should have down there, quarter. Hey, it's I'll play Mark. I'm playing Sparky, the dwarven rogue from Jaggerhoff, who has been having some friends that she didn't want, kind of thing, and only found out that it was more than one friend, and feeling a bit down too. Like, understands Juice's point of view, how things are being down at the moment. So, but upbeat that we might be able to get be in a happy mood hopefully soon.
We shall see. And did you want to go into the multiple curses you have?
No, not really. I'm trying to ignore that as much as I can.
Okay, so then that brings us to Jeremy.
Yeah, good evening all. I'm playing Cordar, the half-human warrior of Sandpoint, who, well, he certainly was down a bit like the others a while ago, but hey, by sleeping under the moonlight every night, his ears are getting slightly pointier again. So he's held the belief that he could regain his elven heritage, whether it's actually happening is a question entirely, but hey, he's convinced himself it might happen.
Well, as long as he convinces himself his ears are getting longer every day, I'm sure they are.
That's right. But otherwise, fighting hard to avoid the corruption caused by the Shard of Greed that he's allowed to take the burden of. And let's say, now working out whether or not how quickly we have to go down, we could go and try and chase down the Shard of Lust, but apparently the Shard of Greed's now telling him where it is after he momentarily succumbed to its influence last session.
And then next up is Peter. Who's currently still on mute.
Hello, I'm playing Lord Willy Won Kenobi. Unfortunately, I missed last session. I'm hoping to catch up on what's been going on. It seems like been going on. I didn't think Josh would hand over the Shard of Greed, but I assume he had no choice.
The Shard of Pride. Josh has got the Shard of Pride.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He did have the Shard of Greed, but he decided he wanted to take Pride instead.
Sure, okay.
He got
Why
convinced by a magic sword that it was better. Of course,
Yes.
Listening to the magic sword, I'm sure it will have no problems whatsoever.
Well, they call it a magic sword. It's just a half as far as anyone can see.
And next up we have is Josh when he can make it to a microphone. So, did anyone want to give a recap for last session?
Yeah. So, the big thing I remember was the fact that, okay, so we effectively finished the previous session with the
Reaching Magnum.
apparent death of the Sandpoint Devil, Although
That was a
when
previous
people look back
session
and
before
realise
that.
The fact that he'd actually, sorry.
That was the previous session before that.
That's correct. We actually effectively finished the previous set like that. Okay, yeah. The session started with it being in Magnemar, having just apparently fought the Sandpoint Devil and thought we'd won, but then Dooza got the message from the Pocket God to say, nah, you're still on countdown. You obviously didn't make it work.
So I'll correct that a little bit. You started the session after defeating the demon out on the edge of the world near Thistletop, and then spent the entire session getting to Magnemar.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, we worked into that. That's yeah.
All good.
Yeah, because there was the discussion about which way we go to Magnemar, because Sparky was concerned, and hey, someone else was concerned about the idea of amongst the curses that she's under was everything was dying around her and decaying and falling apart. So we had to try and find a way to get back to Magnemar that did not go by civilization, and to avoid destroying anything we walked past. So it was a roundabout route back to Magnemar.
And what about the fact that Cordar determined that Sparky was pregnant?
That was clear from the effects of Sparky was having morning sickness.
Never trust a human male fighter. That's all I'm saying.
That's okay. He's not human. He's half elf.
No. He's human. Okay.
Well,
I see no Elven in him right now. Show me a bit of Elven. Come on, go Gordo. Show me. You got no Elven there at all. So anyway, that's enough of that. I'll stop. I'll shut up.
Because he's got no elf does not make him fully human.
Spark is a bit more. Spark is a bit more boisterous than like short to temper these days.
Particularly considering as to how is it that he became half human. Sparky might not want to bring it up too much.
Man, I've forgotten that long ago. I've got other problems to sort out. But I can fill in a bit. So we went through trying to avoid all the towns on the way to Magnemar to see Lady Highmarsh to see if we could find out what's going on. Sparky was a bit unsure what's going on with her and why all of a sudden we believe the Sandpoint Devil was very interested in her, and found out that wasn't just one devil, that was entity was interested in another one plus a god. So
I mean,
so
she got pregnant because she was going and riding the devil all the time.
Yeah, so Sparky's got a lot of things to clear up to become normalish again for a dwarf, but feels that between Doozer and herself, she's feel that we're kind of we just need to get rid of certain devils, demons, and make sure they're gone for good and things like that first, and work on the next step after that. So, in between trying to do Pathfinder stuff. So,
Back to morning sickness.
Yeah.
I'm sure a good team will fix that.
Yeah, so Willie was just sitting in the background laughing the whole time while this was going on. So that's all. Oh no, Willie can't really do that anymore.
Willie can laugh. Willie just can't make no comments.
Okay.
And he makes squeaky noises.
He made lots of squeaky noises. We thought it was a mouse chasing us. So, but we eventually got back to Magnemar and realised that I realised this is my second character who's almost good as much problems as my first character, but it's okay. I feel that it's a learning process in Pathfinder. So, but so that's where we left it, and I don't think we had any plans just yet what we're going to do just yet on last time we left. So.
Except that we did suddenly realise that the Shard of Lust is to the south of Magnemar, but I think there was also the aspect for Doozer to think whether or not she wanted to go back immediately to try and take on the Sandpoint Devil again, or was Madame Hindmarsh able to help your latest curse that stop things dying around you? I got the vague thought that you're no longer killing everything in Magnemar right now.
He hasn't showed signs of killing anything, but he might have done a lot of damage to the area around the Thistletop, or there might be some other things involved there as to why it was breaking down.
So,
He did take away half the cliff face.
personally, I'd like to hear more about this pregnancy thing.
Well, when a mummy halfling and a male devil love each other very much.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. That went left very quickly.
Well, considering there's a dwarf involved as well.
How? This is just getting to be a little bit too graphic for me. I'll stop asking questions.
Well, Sparky's actually a dwarf, so how the halfling got into it, I have no idea. But it just helped the story.
Well, let's face it, there quite possibly was a male halfling involved with Mark's previous character.
Well, they said try the water. There's no harm in water, is there?
So what happened when I'm disconnected? You're telling me that you just want to explain the pregnancy or something?
I was wondering why you were quite quiet during that conversation.
No, I kind of just froze up and I thought, oh, I better disconnect because I'm, on hospital Wi-Fi. So I was like, yeah.
Well, don't worry about it. Nothing important happened. It's all fine. That fit with what you were saying, your context before?
Nothing to see here. Move along. You're not pregnant. Honest.
Martin will explain it all later.
Safe. I don't know how to tell you, Jeremy. That doesn't make me feel safer.
Of course, I'm well known for my explanations of where things went wrong.
I was going to say, so when a beastman and a chaotic demon get together,
well, no.
Instead of birds and bees, I can see this is where we would go.
You missed just the fact that, yes, I said, because, the Peter's character was asking, I want to know more about this pregnancy thing, and so I replied with, well, when a mummy halfling and a daddy devil love each other very much. And then Martin reminded the fact that, well, actually Sparky was a dwarf.
Can we get negative points as players, man? Can you give out negative points as players? Because I think Jeremy deserves 2 already. Okay? So, I think that's a fair call on that comment. But extremely funny.
Well, there's also the point that I don't think that Kortar has paid a lot of attention to Sparky, so he may not actually know that Sparky's not a halfling, considering Sparky has no hair.
That's right. Well, obviously not dwarf.
At least you didn't say gnome this time.
Yeah, so because I can see Sparky causing a fight in a pub soon with Kortar. I got to see his head happening. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go quiet then before really breaks his vow and also goes back, or something like that. So we don't need to encourage Willie right now. So
he can't break his vow, so he's fine.
Yeah, but if we hear constant squeaks on the background, we know that's getting to a stage. Yeah. Okay. So.
I'm sure it's all happy noises.
As the squeaks get higher and higher in pitch, he's on the way
louder and louder.
Hey, I'm sure he'll learn how to make comments that are not sarcastic at all, but could be taken that way.
Yes, by those with. Okay, he's a master of the single entendre.
Okay, so now that Willie's all caught up, Lady Heimar says she may need a week to enchant your items that you requested.
Mm-hmm.
But says in the meantime, perhaps you can do some work for her.
There was discussion about dudes getting some of the runes, or getting additional runes on their access or something, I think, from memory, wasn't it?
That is correct.
Or transferring some of the runes?
Yeah, to a cold iron version or something, I think, remember. So she can...
I think it was either...
That's right, to have a better weapon to face devils. To actually get hold of the cold iron.
Cold iron or two-handed axe. And transfer my runes onto them or
Well,
something like
she's going to
that?
recommend you leaving the weapons behind in question while she has you do some work for her. So what weapons are you leaving behind to get enchanted?
Presuming I bought 2 cold iron like hand axes, probably those.
So you didn't want to have your existing ones enchanted and made cold iron?
I think we asked about that, whether that was possible, and I thought we came to the conclusion that...
The players came to that conclusion, whereas the GM had said multiple times it is possible.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I was really tired that week.
All good.
Sure, I will leave behind my orcish axes then.
I leave behind my magical dagger, do a similar thing. Is that possible?
You'd like to leave your magical dagger behind as well?
Yeah, just see if I can get some cold iron too, because I want this certain thing out of my... I want to just away from me. That makes sense. So I'm going to follow. I'd like to help Duza if need be. So
Are you planning on cutting you open your own stomach with a cold iron dagger? That could be fun.
if it has to come down to that, I'm not sure yet. We'll have to wait till the moment. So.
Well, considering how big the Sandpoint Devil is, I don't think he wants a natural birth.
No, if it means I'm going to have to cut my stomach open, there might be opportunity there.
Okay, so preparing a cesarean.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's good.
And then have to face Desna again why I died again. But yes. But
Well, you didn't actually face Desna for your own death. You faced it for someone else's.
No, that's good. That point. Or the other option I was thinking about if I could find another repeating, I suppose, clip for my repeating crossbow. If they've got any around in the town that she might know of. So.
Ooh, repeating crossbow?
No. A friend who lived in a different town. Because if I say a certain person's name, and because of a certain shard in their body, they might want to take it back from me. Is that correct? Is that correct?
What if you said you want to get another card
No,
for
for this repeating crossbow. Is that better?
Okay, yes.
Okay. So that's it. I might have to head off in a second, guys. So just and I'll be back about half an hour. So
Okay. We'll see you when you get back, and we'll tell you what you missed.
Sorry about that, Martin. I have really bad memory this week
All good.
because of COVID and just everything on top of each other.
Hey, I don't expect people to have the same memory I have, so I try to remind people when they're a little bit out.
Thank you.
Well, I did the same with Jeremy about the you didn't start in Magnamar part.
That's it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
All good. So if you can't remember something, just ask, and if I remember it, I'll tell you.
Cheers.
I guess one of the questions you've got then also, if you've bought a couple, or so you got to get your axes converted to cold iron, that makes it, So you're leaving behind.
I'm leaving behind my orcish axes, so I'll be using my two-handed axe for the first time in a while, though it doesn't have any upgrades on it. It's just a standard two-handed axe.
Okay, so did our fighter Corda have anything he wanted to be worked on by Lady Highmarsh while he's away?
No, he's got everything you need right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're certainly going to leave anything behind.
I know that was going to be the hard part for Corda to go, leave something behind? I have to give something to someone else? Nah, I can wait. How about...
obviously, would be willing to accept anything that she wants to provide.
And how about Willie?
I've got my braces, wraps. What are they? Potency and +1 to hit, +1 damage, or +1d damage or something.
Yep.
I don't know, whatever she can maybe do for those, with those.
Well, she can take them and see what she can provide for you by the time you get back after doing some work for her.
But remember, obviously, anything you're leaving with her, if you're about to go and do some work for her, presumably that involves adventuring, you don't necessarily want to be leaving yourself with less capability if you get into a combat or things like that, if you can avoid it.
I'm sure he doesn't need to
Well-
deal damage with his hands.
We've got Cordar, he can look after most of the fighting. What's the problem?
Happy with that?
Quarter, why do we always have to fight? Why can't we just negotiate and settle things the proper way?
Talk to the devil.
Don't worry, I had a second ago. I was prepared for that answer question.
I don't know. Anything that you can provide me for protection would be appreciated.
Well, I think the part of the discussion at the end of last session was the fact that whether the characters had money to actually go and purchase additional powerful loons or things like that, that maybe Hindmarsh would then be able to put onto items, modify them for people.
Oh,
But it's not necessarily giving stuff away. It was if you were buying it or had access to the funds for it, she might then be able to purchase it for you.
I don't have the money, so I thank her for her offer, but refuse.
No, she says maybe next time.
I mean, that's also part of the problem that Cordo's got is that, yes, he doesn't have the money for it either because he's got to spend it all on stuff that gets the fine underclothes that he then hides away and jewellery that's not showing.
Well, at least he thinks they're not showing because he does have to show it. He has to bling out to avoid the effects of greed.
Well, the information I had said you had to wear it. It didn't necessarily have to be displayed.
Okay, I'll go with that.
That was my understanding of it anyway, but yes, let's say. While some personnel, when affected by the Shard of Greed, might have gone for displaying their wealth ostentatiously, Cordo still definitely tried to fight the effects. Was
You
definitely
mean
trying to
someone
hide
aka
them
Parry?
all. He wasn't naming any names.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, as I say, my understanding of it said that you had to wear it, you didn't necessarily have to display it.
Okay.
But if that's incorrect, then be with it. But yes.
We'll work with it. Okay, so she does say to Willie that she does have this item that might be just up your alley,
Mm-hmm.
and gives you a small flat disc made of twigs.
Small flat disc made of twigs.
Yep.
Placemat.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
You know how to use this, don't you? She says.
Not at all.
Okay, so she takes it back off you and flicks it in her hands, and you see a staff flick out both ends of it. And
More than a coaster.
And then she flicks it again, and it shrinks back down again.
It's a magic wishing staff.
No, I'm
It's
sure.
like monkey.
I'm sure you can make a wish, but it doesn't particularly go far. But it can help you jump and do other things as it expands. And it is also a magical weapon.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sure that'll come in handy.
No pun intended, she says as she puts it in your hand.
Mm.
Okay, so then she does offer our fighter of the group.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I've heard you're having trouble keeping your shields around.
Well, the shields are made to be protect oneself, so better the shield breaking than me.
Spark just interrupts Cordar, says, yes, he does. He just has a long way of saying it there, unfortunately, this time, mate.
Okay. The shields are designed to absorb the blows, and hey, if they break, it's better the shield breaks than me. I can always fix it afterwards.
Yeah, she does agree that it's easier to get the shields fixed than to do that.
Yeah.
But she does have a sturdy
It's
shield.
also why he carries a few shields in his pouch.
She does give you a sturdy shield.
Ooh, okay. A strong sturdy shield is always valuable. Thank you, man. Is that particularly the name of the item, sturdy shield?
Yep, you've got the lesser version.
Okay.
You'll find it on page 588 of the guide.
Okay.
Just so you can look up and compare how it works.
It doesn't say it has to be used by elves at all. It's just for matter of just put it there. Okay, I deserve payback for that, Martin, but I just have to say it, okay?
Well, considering I was just about to come over to Sparky's thing, I'm sure I'll think
I
of
know, I
something
should've
just
shut up, I
absolutely
could've just
perfect
said
for
sorry,
Sparky.
Yeah.
To be fair, if it did, like, in the sense that if you had said, oh, unfortunately it only has to be used by elves, then that would be more comforting for Cordar, thinking, hang on, yep, I can use it. Whether it use it to full effect, it doesn't matter, but... Page 548, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, 588.
588, sorry.
She says she has heard from some of the others that Sparky has had a few problems with locks recently.
Yeah. It's a process of learning and getting better.
Locks, traps, general detection, using their eyeballs.
Demon issues, all sorts of things. Just general stuff, pretty much.
Keeping track of that time of the month.
Oh God! If he says that out loud, I go, can you refer Cordar to a particular book which claims pregnancy, please?
I can. I saw him reading it earlier.
He seems like he hasn't picked up on it. But anyway, sorry, go ahead, please. Sorry.
So she hands you a grinning skull on top of what appears to be a key.
Okay, a grinning skull, is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Says you know how to use this. You know how to use this, don't you? She says.
What's that?
She says you know how to use this, don't you?
Yes. And it opens things, and in a good way, hopefully.
Says, well, in that case, then you should be fine with it.
But I'm happy to take advice from Lady Highmarsh. You are very expert in these sort of things. I say, realising I should have said something different in the first place.
She says, I'm sure that you're smart enough to figure it out for yourself at this point, she says as she pats you on the head.
Okay, so, to be tried, is it? Okay, I'll put that down.
And then she goes to Dooza.
Oh, hello.
Well, considering you're having a lot of issues at the moment.
Yes.
She says maybe you should try a few different techniques in working with things. So she gives you a hobbling snare.
Hobbling snare. Ooh. That sounds fun. Don't you have to set those up beforehand? Like if you're going
do.
to do like a or lure someone into a trap?
You can sort of see that she is suggesting that you actually think before you fight.
Or try and meet the devil on your terms after you trap him.
That is not Dooza's strong suit, but okay.
She knows. That's why she gave you a snare.
Fair enough. I
Something to work
will.
towards.
I will attempt to use what little brain cells I have.
Because you might surprise yourself with what you can accomplish.
I'm sure I would if I gave it more than 2 seconds thought.
And for parry, we have the perfect thing to suit his lifestyle.
He should just be about jumping on you online.
He is online, but he's not currently in our chat.
He is just about to jump on into the chat.
We'll give him a moment. There he is. Hey, Josh, want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Josh. I play Parry Hotter, the buffest wizard known to man, and no one can say otherwise.
What?
Okay, so...
So there's the person who went down to the Sandpoint Devil where I stood up to that.
I mean, to be honest, I tamed 3 full hits. I'd like to see you when you actually get hit. Hang. 3 full hits.
Buffest wizard. Because I don't get hit.
So she gives Parry a nicely coloured belt.
Ah. I say thank you.
So, you know how to use this, she asks.
I fold it in half and smack Dooza.
Well, that's one way to use it, she says.
Whack!
I'm sure you can...
And then put it around my waist.
She pats you on the shoulder and says, I'm sure you'll figure out the other usage then. Just hopefully things don't fall off before you do. Says, so now that you're all ready to go, and a few of you have left some things behind for me to see if I can enchant for you, I've got a murder mystery I'd like you to solve. Hearing that some of you are actually good at solving murders, let's see if the rest of you can pick up from the others.
You mean performing murders or solving murders?
She looks at Willie and says, if you're performing the murders, then it'll be very easy to solve who the murderer is.
Yes.
That's not what I'm asking you to do.
Oh.
I'm sure you can perform murders on your own time, and then we'll send people off to solve it later. And I'm sure your wife will approve greatly of that thought.
What, both of them or just one of them?
I'm sure both of them will. And she pauses for a moment going, so which is the other wife again?
No, one wife, but performing of murders and or solving of said murders.
A minute there I thought you had 2 wives. My mistake, she says.
God. I can only deal with one at the... And then I stop talking.
And you hear a bit of a meow in the background going, almost like an objection meow in your head.
What do you mean?
Objection, Your Honor. There is evidence of 2 wives here.
Objection.
So, do you feel up to solving a murder mystery?
Sounds fun.
Sure.
Okay, so head on out to Sandpoint and ask Ruby about it, because I'm sure she'll fill you in on it, because she was expecting you to drop by a few days ago. I'm sure being late won't be a problem with her, she says, giving Willie a wink.
Who's Ruby again?
What?
Ruby one Kenobi.
Oh, okay, like,
Said wife.
Yeah,
Said
said
my
my
wife.
Hopefully the rumours of the second wife don't get there first.
Oh no,
It'd be
she's
lovely to
probably BFFs by now.
Yeah.
There's a murderer running around Sandpoint?
Well, there has been, and she'd actually asked specifically for me to send a group down there to deal with it.
Wouldn't that be just the devil?
There.
Yeah, I'm just thinking straight up, yeah, there's a devil there. She's like, he's a murderer, isn't he? Whatever.
No, the devil hasn't normally been hanging around inside Sandpoint itself.
Oh, okay.
So there is a
Okay.
question about damages that they might want to raise against a certain dwarf when she returns.
I don't see. I only see a bald person here. I don't see a dwarf. And try to. Okay, point taken. Looks like I have to do some free work. Not your house, Corda. I say that.
What? You destroyed my house too. Destroyed the porch.
No, I'm not fixing your house. That's it. No, that's you. No.
Okay.
I'll do the rest of the town. I'll do every single bit of the rest of the town. Just not your house.
So you're really going to annoy Koya, she says.
No, unless Corey asks me nicely, then I'm definitely doing it.
It is Koya's house that is the one that he's referring to.
And that's okay, because Cordar will be encouraging you to step away from the house anyway. He can fix the house.
Okay. Okay. I'll just be quiet. Let's get going to Sandpoint, please, guys.
You see, I'm sure she doesn't want to put her foot into it too many times. That's how she got pregnant in the first place.
We
I
are
get
certain
pretty much.
that,
I'm about to say you can't get prick my foot, and then I'll just go. I'll just shut up. Yeah.
You've got
We are certain that,
Indy.
the influence or whatever it was that's causing him to destroy everything around him has been removed and or suppressed.
I believe it has been removed at this stage. Though he may get visitations from a certain spirit until it's dealt with.
And yes, I will tell everyone when I get a visitation. I won't hide it to myself this time.
And I do like how it was this time.
What do we know of the murder moment? That they just started? It's like that they weren't mentioned when we were there not so long ago. We didn't stay very long the second time we were there for, but it's only a recent murder.
Well, it's been happening for the last 3-4 weeks, she says. But the lawkeepers have been keeping it under wraps, waiting for investigators to arrive.
So why didn't she mention it when we were there last time?
Did you have a... were you there as investigators, she says?
No.
Did you ask her about the murders?
We didn't know about any?
There's a good reason why she didn't tell you, because she's been pretty good at not alarming the citizens about, horrible things happening again in the town.
Okay.
People are easily spooked, such as your dwarf here, who believes that everything that Cordar says is correct.
I just give dudes at the most. Well, look, I really don't laugh at that one. Kind of look.
I have.
From a bored dwarf, doesn't really do much damage at all in that one situation.
Not only that, I have to bend down to pat Sparky on the face.
And don't worry, Sparky always looks surprised. No eyebrows.
Head of disguise doesn't do anything to change that, so I'm not even going to go there. So, yeah. All I do is, like, all of a sudden you see the hood over Sparky's head and just
Your poor little grumpy.
poor little grumpy dwarf.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And she says, if you do happen to come across ponies, please try not to ride them again, she says.
I nod.
So she said, she's gotten the horses cleaned up and ready to go. And she'll hopefully have your equipment ready for you in about a week. But till then, good luck with your gear, and hopefully it doesn't kill you, she says, winking at Parry.
Nah. Parry puffs out his chest as the Buffers was a known man.
Is that hurt my tattoo?
Yeah, you can probably see the imprint.
Yeah, I just all of a sudden feel my chest puff out. Go, oh, okay. Okay.
How many days ride is it between McNamara and Sandpoint again?
2 days.
Or we take the road?
Yep.
It's 2 days when you take the road.
And so the murders are apparently going on for a few weeks. How many total are we talking about?
She doesn't know the exact figures. You have to ask Lady Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Hell Knights are generally not equipped to deal with such mundane things as murder. It was her response.
Yeah, and then it's more that Cordar is making the internal thought process of how dangerous an immediate the situation is whether it's worth risking Sparky coming through the teleportation circle into Cordar's basement. At this stage, he's thinking he can wait 2 days. It obviously wasn't important enough to let us know or be concerned about it when we were there previously, so...
She'll have some food for travel prepped for you to leave in the morning.
So, yes. Unless the teleportation circle is specifically brought up, Cordar is not going to bring it up. And he'll look forward to another couple of days on the road. Maybe you'll meet a few kobolds as we go past the swamp again. That'll cheer him up. Goblins, sorry, not kobolds.
Well, you've got to be hopeful for kobolds at this stage, considering goblins have been absent in the region for quite a while now.
Yeah, but it's goblins that he particularly hates.
I know.
So.
Okay, so any last minute stuff you want to get done before you head off into the wilds of Sandpoint?
I was going to say, Cordar will probably be, if there's not actually effectively any source of information as to around Sandpoint to the murders, he'll actually spend the time doing a bit of research on areas south of Magnamar, trying to work out, I wonder where this shard is pointing me and how quickly we can do something about it. So, but I'm perfectly happy that that's nothing comes to that moment. So,
I want to buy a couple of bottles of very nice wine as a gift for my adorable wife.
Okay, so you manage to get yourself about 6 bottles of really nice red wine.
I will ask Cordar. So, yeah, Googly.
So, what does it cost?
Managed to get it for only 2 gold.
Jesus. Really good. Awesome.
I will ask Corda of what his grandma likes that I could say sorry about damage to her place. I'd like to just bring her something to say, I'm sorry. Yeah. If Corda doesn't give me a response that's give me nice about it, I'm just gonna yeah.
Corda's happy to describe the types of things that Koya likes,
Yes.
or at least the things that he noticed that she liked, or she quite happily accepted from his growing up in childhood type stuff. So he was always happy, or she was always happy to receive Corda's misshapen clay figurine with the odd-coloured paint, the typical primary school present.
And then there's the doilies and the hand stitched stuff.
I'll just go to Timlet Desno and see if I can find something I can bring back from there and hand it to Claire. So, the local one.
Okay, the local one they have on display in their version of a gift shop. Because I'm sure that all good temples have gift shops these days.
Well, they should do. Yeah, need to get the finances done. I'll just find something nice and simple that I feel that Koya, sorry, likes, but I have to remember the name. Koya likes, and I think would like, and just bring it back and just to say, sorry about their house. I'll give you a hand while I'm in town for this other stuff too. And help out fixing up.
So that they have for sale some silver twigs blessed by Desna. They say only sell it to you for 100 gold each.
I'll look at the finances. Sitting at 110. Yeah, I did destroy a house. I do. Definitely think it's worth it. So I'll just grab one. And then ask if they possibly put it in a nice little box just to be. That says for a friend of mine that's. Want to say thank you to.
They're more than happy to do so. They first put it in a vial so it won't get damaged and safely transported, and then wrap it up in a nice pearlescent style wrapping. Like it sparkles no matter which way you look at it.
Cool. I feel that I might get some forgiveness and just then I'll promise to help out building the house when I get there too.
I was going to say, probably should have preferred the 100 gold to go towards repairs, but hey.
I don't know this yet. I don't know.
Hello.
Give me a second, guys. Hang on.
Okay, so did Duzo wish to pick up anything before heading back?
Yes, please. I would like to stock up, like health potions and stuff like that.
Okay, so health potions.
Because I think I've used up pretty much all I had. I think I had like 3 or 4 on me, and I haven't stocked up in a while.
Okay, so you can buy yourself 10 potions for 40 gold.
40? 40?
Yep.
Is that a lot? That sounds like...
That's a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Or I can sell you this one potion for 50.
No. Wait, what potion is he trying to sell me?
Well, it's got red sloshing liquid that you recognize as a healing potion.
That you read. It's actually tomato juice.
It's tomato juice.
He says it's a primary ingredient in helping make the potion.
Sorry, I missed that.
The tomato juice helps make the potion.
Yeah.
would have just like had minor healing potion before, but I don't think it was that much.
Well, he is offering you 10 of them for 40 gold.
Oh, true. How much are they normally? Or is that the same?
Would your character know?
Okay, give.
Well, I have bought them before, so.
We'll see how well your character remembers. Have an intelligence check and see if you can roll under on a flat check under your intelligence.
Under.
Yep.
Your intelligence isn't bad.
No. It's not.
What's your intelligence?
Oh,
so it's 12.
Yeah.
So you're going up and up 12.
11 and lower, you'll remember what the price was.
No, that's a 16. I should have used. No, sorry. I made a mistake. I used my good dice instead of my shit dice.
She did use her good dice. She rolled a 16.
Okay.
So she rolled well or
Yeah.
high.
So, what do you think it's really worth as a character?
I
Hmm.
don't know. I honestly can't remember. I probably would have thought that the 3 or 4 that I bought last time was maybe like 3 or 5 gold in total.
Is Perry with you?
I don't know. Are you?
I probably would have walked.
Okay, Parry's walked in at this stage as Dude's just looking confused, apparently struggling to count.
I see on her fingers, on his fingers, is like 1.
Yeah. As she starts to take his boots off, you interrupt.
Yes. I go, Duza, what are you doing?
I don't understand this, like, on silver. It's different to how we orcs, pay for things.
I say, hello, my dear sir. I see you're trying to give Duza some potions, I see.
Yes, we were trying to sell to this fine, upstanding half orc over here a batch of 10 potions for 40 gold, or this one potion over here for 50. And then I seem to have confused this fine, upstanding gentleman by giving him choices.
Yep. I see. Do you mind if I have a look at these potions?
Sure. Just if you drink it, you bought it.
Not going to plan on drinking it. I just want to have a simple look at it.
Yep.
What kind of potions would they be?
Give me an Arcana roll.
Lovely. Plus 16. 35.
Okay, you identify the batch of 10 as minor potions,
Minor potions.
and the single one as a moderate potion.
As a moderate potion. And I'm assuming that 40 gold for 10 minor potions is relatively...
Is basically market price.
I was about to say, it is market price.
It's 4 gold a potion, so he's actually been fairly fair to the half orc, which is probably unusual.
Mm-hmm.
And 50 gold for the moderate one is right on the price as well.
Fair enough.
And minor potions do a D8 or is it actually a flat?
I think it's a
Double.
D8.
It's a DA, I'm pretty sure.
It is a D8.
Yep.
And the moderate one does 3d8 plus 10.
I'll respect the seller's honesty, and I'll let Duza know when this is what you've got. And I explain to you the healing properties of minor and moderate potions and everything else. I mean, you're not as dumb as a fence post. You're
No.
above average intelligence.
It's above average, but you've never known User to be... He's good at keeping the party money safe,
Yes.
but when it comes to money,
Mm.
he doesn't really, care
Understand.
about it or understand its total functions.
I say to you, it's a very good deal for both.
Okay. I will have the 10, please.
Well, sure. He would you like it gift wrapped or just packed in a container?
Just in a container, please.
All good. He pulls out a small little box with it's got 12 little openings in it and starts putting the bottles in there. So how are we going to pay for this now before I hand it over? He says.
Juicer probably like starts rooting around in his pockets, but
Okay.
wherever he's
Coin pouch.
he's
Okay, so you find your coin pouch quite quickly. It's the one that squelches.
oh, that's right. I start counting money out.
I've been waiting for the next time you paid for something.
That's okay. I forgot about that.
I didn't.
I noticed. I knew what you meant as soon as you said it, though.
Hey, there's a reason no one steals from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Dooza probably doesn't realize that. He just thinks he's like the cool, tough orc that, you know, keeps the party money safe.
And it's basically any thief is always caught red-handed.
Yeah.
So yes, you start putting the blood money on the table.
Well, it's not blood money per se, it's just...
They're glittering with red blood.
It's bloody, not red, not the other one.
Well, some of them actually do seep blood.
You grabbed the wrong one, though.
Did I? Oh, whoops. No,
You haven't been able to get rid of the ones that actually seep blood, so you're not exactly sure which ones they are.
Yeah, that's true. Oh well. I keep counting.
Okay, so yes, he does look a bit pale as he gathers up the coins with a cloth.
I'll do him a favor and I'll cast prestidigitation on the points.
He does mouth thank you to you while the orc's not looking.
I point to his mouth. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. And before you leave with your gains, he does. Please come again with a sort of shrill note to his voice.
Like, please don't. But I'm not gonna turn away a paying customer.
Yeah.
But please don't.
What would be interesting is when you go again, whether or not the standard price rate changed at all. It might go up or down, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I didn't try to bargain.
Harry was damn well contemplating. But I went, no, this is Dooza's RP, so I'll just give my 2 cents and then it can be up to Dooza.
Harry helped Dooza, so he handed the money.
So did you bought the 10 base ones?
Yeah, 10 minor.
10 minor.
Okay. Now, did Corda wish to pick anything up before he left?
No, he can't afford to because he's got the only thing he'd be purchasing if needed would be more fine silk undergarment type effects.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, he's more aiming to do a bit of research on the area south of Magdamar since he hasn't been down that way, and try to get an indication of, I wonder how far this thing, like, there's obviously no indicator as to distance, it's only direction that the shard's giving me. So he's trying to work out, are we going to have to walk through whatever it is and have a look at what that terrain might be, or whether we think, I wonder if there's a teleportation that makes it worth jumping a distance or things. But yeah. Basically, he'll be looking at geography south of Magma.
Doing his research, he does realise that the shard generally pulls you in the direction most likely to lead you to your destination, not always in the actual direction of the item.
Okay, yep.
As a magical thing, it's not a you must go here. It's a this direction will lead you to the objective.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's a compass. It's not a
compass, not a magnet.
Yeah, well, all right, but the point is, it doesn't give a location in mind. It's purely a direction.
So if you head south far enough, it will then change its direction to whatever way is most likely to lead you into the direction.
Right. Like, if he did take a teleportation to something that turned out to be too far south or ended up, then yes, he would get. And that was part of his thought process was it might be worthwhile doing triangulation, but again, it'd be a case of working out what access to teleportation he's got and where they fit.
So what I was getting at is the item could actually be north of you, but the quickest way there is going south.
Okay, so he's talking about most efficient pathway.
Yep.
Okay.
And so the magic behind it is basically designed around people walking.
Okay. In which case then...
Or land travel.
If he knows that, then it's definitely a case of looking at the terrain to the south of Magnemar, which will at least be the initial travel.
Which the main terrain to the south is the Yondabarki River and the Mush Fens.
Okay.
And the Mush Fens will give you plenty of time to deal with kobolds.
Mm-hmm. He will also definitely be taking note of it as we're travelling north. I think we're a bit northeast to get to Sandpoint. He will keep track in his own mind as to, okay, what's the shard telling me? To whether or not it changes the idea of best way to travel. So,
okay.
But again, that's something that's for future activity.
And now we're giving Parry a chance to pick up something he wanted before he caught up with Dooza.
Oh. Would there be a magic shop in the town?
You were just there.
Oh, just there. Beautiful. Well, that's basically probably why I walked in on Dooza. While Dooza walked off, I probably would have stayed.
Mm-hmm. It says, "How may I help you, sir?"
And thank you again for cleaning the coins.
Looking around for... What would I be looking around for?
Well, he does admire the belt you're wearing, saying, hopefully that does work well for you, sir.
Oh. You must know what it is then.
Of course. I doubt you'd wear it without knowing.
I may be smart, but I'm not wise.
Oh, a wizard then, I see.
Yes, exactly.
That's wizard.
Yeah, you probably know my names around these parts quite recently.
I have heard of a wizard who is so buff that they can outshine everyone with their muscles. This is probably why Lady Highmarsh requested that item from me specifically.
Oh.
That's why he recognises it knows what it does.
What else is it, Martin? What kind of roll? Arcana?
Well, he's happy to actually tell you, unless you want to try to identify it yourself.
I'll see what he would like to tell me about it.
He says it is known as the lifting belt. It gives you a bonus to athletics, and you can carry more than the average person.
Oh, wow.
As well as You can activate it with 2 actions and using both hands to lift things of up to bulk 8 as if they were weightless.
Oh. That's pretty good.
So you can actually be Mr. Muscles literally with that belt. So she's obviously paid attention to your preferences.
And you said it was a lifting belt?
Yes, lifting belt on page 613.
6, 1, 3. 4 pages too. Oh yeah, lifting belt. There it is. Ooh.
Which you have to admit does suit Parry.
It does, actually.
He'll be able to have weightlifting contests with Doozer then.
You say, look, this is easy to lift.
Exactly what the lift and carry things are for big pieces, but yes, being able to lift bulk 8 as if it's weightless is likely quite impressive.
Oh yes.
I think I have a bulk capacity of 9 or 10, something like that.
Well, Parry now has a bulk of 6 plus his strength modifier.
6. Yeah, 6.
So yes, it does, help.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Juice is like +5.
Barry will have a look around the shop and just see what is actually in here. Actually, would.
Yes,
I don't know
got
if
news
there's
from
much
Victor
in
that
terms
he
of-
can't make tonight because they're having flooding where he is.
No.
What was that, Chloe?
Victor's got flooding where he is at the
Oh,
moment.
Victor's down. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the poor guy can't seek to catch a break.
No.
Okay, so he does have an interesting necklace of really red beads hanging
Necklace?
from a chain nearby.
Oh. Does Barry know what it is? Probably.
Give me an Arcana check.
31.
31. You recognize it as a necklace of fireballs.
Necklace of fireballs.
Pull the bead off and toss it away.
Yep.
Barry will actually point to that and go, so quite a.
How much for that? Pretty.
Yeah, I was about to say, how much for that? It's quite a distinguished item.
Oh, that one over there. Just be aware, you do know you throw this thing and not stick it somewhere else.
Oh, I'm well aware of fireball.
Previous owner did not understand and used it for recreational purposes.
Ah, it's used, I see.
Still got all its beads attached.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about previous character of mine right now. Sorry.
So was I.
Oh no. Yeah, Harry. Harry's well aware of what this is, where this is going. And how that's even a line that Harry does not want to cross.
So he says, I'm happy to let this one go for 40 gold. Slight discount as thanks for your help with the half-orc.
Beautiful. I will pay him 45, and basically five for a tip.
That's actually quite nice. He thanks you and says, are there other things you're after?
No, you've been very kind to both me and my companions, sir, and hope you have a good day.
Well, I try to help all that I can because if I help you, then hopefully eventually, if I need help, you'll be there to help us.
I will try my best to come back and help you guys.
Says, good luck, and hopefully whatever you're going up against doesn't kill you because I could do off the surface.
I flex. I'm like, you're talking to the buffest wizard known to man.
He says, I recognize that flex. He pulls out a painting. Somehow this made it here. Would this happen to be you or part of your family?
I will spare you the details of my entire family and probably the scarring that it may haunt you. But yes, it is probably related to me or my family.
Well, it's magical, whatever it is. Do you have any idea why they would magic up a naked photo of family members? Well, painting as it might be.
We usually kind of do that for
Recreational
personal protection,
purposes?
basically.
Personal protection. Well, he has heard of the otters and their offspring. Wherever they may be, whatever race they may be.
Yeah.
Does Sparky feel uncomfortable all of a sudden with the tattoo on her front? That just something's not quite right.
Just feels itchy.
Okay, cool. Just
It just feels itchy. It's probably getting infected.
Probably the baby kicking.
Oh, I'm gonna get this now 3 or 4 sessions. I can see right now. Yeah.
Maybe you'll get your own picture.
I'm not interested. I just wondered if I feel just uncomfortable in the force is what I'm looking at kind of thing right now. I'm going. Something's not quite right. I just don't know what it is.
If you update the family portrait, your face will be there.
Am I officially family now or not? That's what I'm wondering. We haven't had this discussion yet here, Barry.
Depends on who's the father.
Well, we all know you in the family way.
Okay. I'm just waiting for the travel montage to kick in now, so yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
The long talk about the Hodder family for about half the trip.
And you have the graphic family tree?
Oh yeah.
Because it's not lines, it's pictures.
I'm probably giving PTSD to Duzo, who's actually vividly seen what Parry gets up to.
Juicer probably actively stays away from Parry for the entire trip. As soon as he gets whiff of what the conversation is.
Just his family tree, and you're like, oh nah, this whips your horse and just like takes off just a little bit further ahead.
You're like, don't worry, I'll clear the way.
I'll scout.
I'll scout.
Okay, so with both Duza and Corda doing the scouting, does Willie also volunteer to scout, or does Willie want to listen in on the Hodder history?
I might listen.
Okay.
Oh god, I pity you. I'll pity your soul.
So I'll give Willie a will saving throw.
Willie's a bit of a freak, but anyway. I failed miserably. 2 on the dice.
Okay, so I believe that after about half a hour of vivid descriptions.
Okay, is that a critical failure?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. What is it? It is a 2 plus. What's that? It's a 13.
Okay, so you have flashbacks.
To the last time I was with my wife.
No, to when you were actually reading the journal last time.
Ah, okay. So as he's talking about it, I'm just nodding along, going, "Oh yeah, but you forgot this little bit as well, didn't you?"
Oh no. This is word by word accurate to said journal.
So you don't embellish at all?
He doesn't need to.
Sparky doesn't know about the family history. He must know every detail.
Nice.
Am I bottling the roll that will save now or not?
No, Constitution check. Fortitude save.
Unfortunately, okay. 21.
Yes, you do.
Probably-
You feel sickened, but you manage to keep your lunch.
Morning sickness wasn't as bad today.
I'm not trying to internalize things anymore. I'm going, but I do have a feeling that why did I save Harry in the first place? Or try to help him in the first place? I feel that I've made some wrong choices in life at the moment, so yeah. But I do listen into the situation, so I go, okay, 2 days to get here, 2 days to go there, it's okay.
There are no poor life choices, there's only happy accidents.
Okay, I'm still learning that bit.
These just going even more like, I'm thinking, talking to a pregnant woman who wasn't expecting to be pregnant, talking about poor life choices and happy accidents.
It seems to be colliding too much here, Jeremy. I do agree on the inside. So, yeah.
Works perfectly as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so you have the montage of Parry having long and in-depth discussions with our little dwarf Sparky, followed by injections from Willie, where Parry may have actually forgotten something. And nodding along, thinking, he thinks some of that too, I'm sure. As I'm sure it doesn't count as incest if you've been reincarnated. But hey, that's magic for you.
Can
But-
you body?
Yeah. While I've managed to hold the sickness, I'm more paler as a bald dwarf. I feel like I feel like I need to get some sun at the moment. So I was like,
It's not about making you physically ill, it's about making you mentally ill.
yeah, still.
And in the back of Sparky's head through most of the trip, he keeps hearing a murmuring going, one of us, one of us, one of us, the entire trip.
Order, order, order.
It's gonna be a long 6 months. I gotta get them going for poor Sparky, but yeah, it's okay.
6 months, you're a dwarf, it's probably going to be 2 years.
Oh, I'm still going to 6 hours character time here, dark time. And I'm going to go pregnant, voice in the head. Yeah, sure nothing's going to go wrong here. Yeah.
Okay, so you find yourself at Sandpoint rather quickly. You managed to avoid a lot of the potential banditry along the way. They just heard Parry describing things and went, nope, not going there.
What I'm amused about or concerned about is the idea that Sparky's been hearing voices again and has not told anyone.
What I'm concerned about is that we have 2 scouts up the front, and yet the bandits still managed to hear my conversation.
Hey,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm not talking.
Good,
Yeah, go, Jerry. I was going to say, because Cordo's not here, that I can't actually say what's going on yet, because somebody's gone scouting, so...
Okay, we went scouting very specifically, and thought, hey, bandits, yeah, they're bad, they deserve to hear.
So dark. So...
Show them the error of their ways, allow them to listen to the story.
Next big gathering, yes, I probably would have mentioned I had some voices, but I was waiting for that to happen, yeah. But considering that one party's gone off to get away from the other part of the party, I thought it's not the right time to do it, so... I think it's a fair call by me. I think it's a very sensible call, personally, but yeah.
Okay, so you make it to Sandpoint before the gathering actually happens.
Yeah. And so if we sit down for a meal, I'll just mention that, yeah, I had some voices, on the way I explained what they said. but for some reason, we didn't want to all sit together on our journey back to Sandpoint.
Cormac immediately looking at the surrounding area around Sparky to see if it's dying off or decaying or crumbling.
Well, it is cold, so it might just be winter. Okay, so you reach Sandpoint on the at the end of the second day's travel, and a
5% through a hottest family tree.
and a big storm starts to kick up.
A typically seasonal storm, or are we talking unusual storm?
Well, it is a typical seasonal storm. You think it's going to be
Okay,
a snowfall during it?
So, yeah, we're coming into winter. A sea coast. I'm expecting we get storms, and obviously, we're able to be aware of whether or not it's normal.
Are we seeing the signs being flicked from Sandpoint to Snowpoint?
Looks like it is going to get a heavy blanket of snow. It is. You are in the equivalent of January, so northern hemisphere. So it's been winter for at least over 2 months now.
Mm-hmm. Well, the time does travel well to avoid travelling through the storm.
I suppose a question of mine. As a dwarf of my previous location was, have I ever seen snow before?
You have seen snow before, but you spent most of your time in Riddleport when your family moved there from Jangerhoff.
Yep. Okay, good point. Yeah. Cool, keep getting that.
All good.
Cool, okay. Oh, interesting. But I'm going to head back to Koya's house, not Cordar's house, but Koya's house, and see if they're all there.
And as you reach the gates, you can see the snow start to turn into hail.
Let's start walking faster. You to the house.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go to your family's house. The one that busted up last time.
I thought I made it clear you weren't very welcome at the house anymore.
Well, I thought we'd gone through that and got over it. While I'm running the lobby to the house.
Does it look like we've got over it?
Well, I get to the house. What do I say?
You see a rather tall elf in the middle of fixing the front door.
Amongst the decayed ports that crumbled away and...
Well, the entire framing has been rebuilt.
And probably still the rusted gate that might have fallen off the hinges as was trying to be opened. It's only been a few days since you were...
I know. I say hello and see if I get a welcoming or non-welcoming kind of response.
Shillelagh sort of glances in your direction and goes, "Oh, you."
Yeah. Fair call, I say.
I hear your...
Welcome. You should go back to your lodgings wherever you're going to stay. I'll see you in the morning.
She does call out, "I hear you're in the demon way."
Yeah. No, not really. No. It's quite a reckon.
Which is why she's going to be staying somewhere else.
I recommend the temple. The Hell Knights are very good at dealing with demons.
Can I talk to Queer first, please?
What, you haven't been talking to her on the trip? She was following you the whole way.
Was she?
She's a druid.
Oh, she is. Oh. Is she in the house?
No, she's been... see that little bird over there? She says, pointing to the fence.
Oh, sorry, hello. I've got something for you.
Give me a sense motive. Perception.
This is not
Good old Shillelagh. Does a great Shillelagh and heads out towards a horse paddock.
Well, she gives you a strong handshake while Mark does a perception roll.
Yeah. So, yeah. Ooh, that's very good. That's a 31.
Okay, so you realise that Shillelagh has just been pulling your leg for the last few minutes as you're greeting this bird that is actually just a bird as it flies off.
Look, okay. Nicely done. Well played.
as Koya comes hobbling out, going, again, Koya, again with that. Did you really have to, use that joke again? Isn't that getting old? She says. Shillelagh shrugs, saying, "It works."
Hey, if they still fall for it.
I welcome Koya and I pull out the parcel that I got from saying, "Hey, I know I did some problems here last time I was here, but I thought this might help kind of mend some fences. Not a physical way, but yeah.
And yeah.
And I'm not.
Or point your face towards the fences that still need mending.
Yes, I will help out with that. Okay?
Oh, she goes, "Oh, so you visited the temple in Magnumar, I see."
I did, yes.
And you got me a silver twig candy.
Yes.
So,
Candy?
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was something a bit more than that.
Oh, it's one of the ways they get donations from people.
Okay. Well, yes, I did then.
Would you like a bite? She says.
Okay. So, okay. And then I ask Shayla where the hammer is and start helping.
No, you're going to wherever you're staying. I'll see you in the morning.
But, look,
Hearing the thump of the ice coming down quite hard nearby.
I put on these sad dwarven skin, no hair kind of puppy dog eyes, looks at Quentin. You sure you can't let me just stay down the floor down the bottom here? I'll keep out everyone else's way.
Well, we've only got one floor here, so...
Okay. And I try with Corda, but I'm not sure it might work, so I thought I'd try with Koya first, but... You sure can't just please stay at night? Any problems? I'll go, okay?
She glances at Corda.
You'd already arranged a place to stay, obviously.
No. I didn't arrange for a place to stay.
But you knew you weren't staying here.
Well, I did. No one made a decision in this situation yet. Don't try to put this back on me.
No one made a decision.
Well, yes.
I told you last time, get out, don't come back.
Is he always like this, Koya?
No, this is one of his nice moods. He must like you.
He likes me.
He hasn't killed you yet.
That's true.
You can't go around destroying the house and expect to be welcomed back.
I promised to help fix it up. I told you that.
I don't care.
Shayla, you going to help me out here?
She says, yes, the door's that way.
Yeah, there might be a room at the inn.
This is the inn. Do they still have an inn yet in this time frame or not?
They do have an inn. They've got multiple of them. And then there's always the church where I'm sure Willie will end up at some point.
Yeah. I've been through that church with Willie being in there. I don't really want to go back there after that scene. So I'll see if I can find out a room in the inn then. Just one of the inns that they look after. So where that silly teen guy's in the chef room cooking food.
Presumably, considering Shillelagh was definitely amongst the ones who pushed away from this house, you probably don't want to go for the...
it was worth a try. It was worth a try.
Dragon.
Yeah.
And because certainly one of the inns is owned by Shillelagh.
Yeah.
No, sorry, owned by...
Miko.
Yeah,
I'll go to the Dragon Inn. Yeah. I'll say, look, I'll go to the inn and I'll try to come back in the morning to help out in between what we're trying to do.
So you're heading to the Rusty Dragon?
Yes. I believe it's called the Rusty Dragon that we went to, sure.
That's the one where Miko owns it.
Yeah, I'll go to there and see if I can grab a room.
Did you get a better welcome there?
I don't know yet. Depends on what mood Miko's in. It can vary sometimes from history. So, but that was my previous character. So.
Okay, so as you head off, you hear the sounds of music being played in Koya's house as you head off into the hail.
I was going to say, did he hear it over the hail coming down on him?
He does, because that's just before he heads out.
Right. And I'm up on the way going, yeah, Brandon, of course he is. Yeah, and walk over back to the end. So.
Okay, so...
Corda was encouraging you to not go to the house, go straight to the, walk in the front gates of Sandpoint.
No, still feel a bit disappointed in you, but anyway, I'm still working on that. We're gonna light. You get the light of sight eventually. So
Okay, so what is Willie doing?
So where
Willie
everyone
is,
else
Willie goes
It
straight to
happens
his
like I
wife.
said. The rest are welcome to stay at their house. That doesn't mean they will.
Okay, so Willie goes straight to the cathedral.
He wants to see his wife straight away.
So as you're walking in, hail starts to fall down.
Lucky I arrived when I did.
For some reason, even though you're walking through it, nothing seems to be falling on you.
That's good and yet disturbing at the same time.
As you're seeing people around you all getting socked with large hailstones.
I sort of suggest that they might want to take shelter in the church.
Most of them are afraid to go out from under the eaves or that they're hiding under.
Oh well, choices and consequences.
And we have a rather pleasant walk into the cathedral. You know, that whole smoky ice scene as you open the doors.
Mm-hmm. If I see any of the Hell Knights that I know, I greet them warmly.
You do. And as soon as you open the door, you see 3 large cats looking at you.
Hey kitties. I'll take the time to sort of stop and give a scratch and a pat.
And they don't claw you this time.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, you must be doing something right.
Maybe. But I greet them warmly. And once I'm done that sufficiently, I'll move further into the church to hopefully greet my wife.
Yes, she's there with your kid. And they both greet you warmly.
Awesome. We have the long-awaited reunion, at which point I show my wife the gift.
She's extremely grateful, even though you've been only away for a couple of days, and she's glad that you've managed to buy her a gift.
Oh, I didn't think you could buy good wine here, so I thought I'll bring you something nice.
She appreciates the thought.
Eventually, it gets around to us. Have we walked away from sort of everybody else, or?
You have. You've got the place to yourselves, 3 cats and a child.
Ah, okay. I let her know that we've been sent in reply to her call for assistance and investigators.
Oh, so you're on the clock. That's good. I didn't want to make you actually do investigating without getting something out of it.
I don't know if we're going to get anything out of it, but we're here nonetheless.
You usually get kudos from the Pathfinder Society if they ask you to look into something.
Like I said, I'm not sure we're actually going to get anything out of this, but...
Maybe a pat on the back.
Yay!
Says, well...
I'm not sure where all the rest of my group have gone, but I'm sure they're around here somewhere.
You miss me yelling, you did good. The moment was running.
Okay, so did we?
Just on that line, just confirming, did Doomsday and Parry go straight to Koya's house and they're staying there,
Yes.
or did they go with Willie at all?
Helping Chalet Lou.
Okay, yeah. So you're at Koya's house. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So you all by yourself there, Willie?
So yes, she takes you into a side room where you can see about 20 bodies.
Oh, wow.
Each of them with wounds on them, and she says, I'm sure you can see the problem just by studying them. You have kept up on anatomy, haven't you? She says, giving you a look.
Not so much. But are they obviously like, claw marks, sword marks?
Give me a medicine roll as you investigate the bodies.
What's that? Oh, fuck me. Not much. 3 on the dice plus Edison. I don't know, 10.
They're dead.
Yeah. They're dead with lots of blood missing.
She sighs and goes, so, does it mean we need to have another one of those conversations?
Hopefully not. But I'm sure my companions are around somewhere and they'll be able to get a little bit more out of the situation than I can.
I guess we can wait for the storm to pass and then have that conversation again. In the meantime, I do have some books you can study which might help you pay more attention.
Excellent.
Don't worry, I'll get the rec prepared momentarily.
Something funny happened to me on the way into the church. The hail wasn't touching me.
Yeah, I didn't want to see you get too bloodied until it was my turn.
Oh. Thank you, dear.
It's all part of the service.
Up beforehand.
All of a sudden, Sparky has a big chill through her whole body, just after the walking from previously. Don't know what happened, then just gets back to being in the inn.
There's it's all part of the plan, she says, giving you a nice wink.
It's good to hear.
So as she leads you off, the scene fades as we move over to Sparky.
Yep.
So Sparky, you get to make a Constitution Fortitude saving throw as you're dashing through the cold.
27.
Okay, so the cold is breathtaking, but you're managing to make it to the Rusty Dragon. And manage to get in just before the worst of the storm hits.
Yep, I pull my hood down, reveal my bald head and eyebrows, and then see if I can get a room here.
Okay, so as you look over, there's a little Asian kid playing on top of the bar.
Okay.
There's who are you?
Hi, I'm Sparky. I'm friends of Corda and Koya, and just a bit full over there at the house at the moment, so I was wondering if I can get a room for the night.
Quite possibly. How much are you offering?
I can give you a gold for a room, that's right.
Well, you can give me a gold, but that's not going to get you a room, he says.
Oh, how much is the room here?
Well, considering there is a storm damage happening at the moment, so we have inflated the prices a little bit to cover the repair work and all that sort of thing. So it's currently going for 5 gold.
Right. Yeah. Give us a
The
Mika.
damage from a few days ago when...
Look, hey, you're not there. Shush you. Stick back to the other house. Don't get involved with this bartering session, okay? So I'm going to... I ignore the internal Cordar voice that I just hear all of a sudden, and then I just go, oh, and I look around for Miko. Do I see a Miko at all around?
She's not here at the moment.
Oh.
And no real patrons here either. Maybe they went home when the storm was coming.
Well, you sure, a friend of the family, there wouldn't be a discount of some sort, wouldn't there?
I've met all of Miko's friends. She doesn't know any dwarves as far as I know. Are you a dwarf, by the way? You sort of look dwarfish, but you're missing all your hair. Did it fall out?
I'm a dwarf.
Are you rather old? But you're not really wrinkly. And he just keeps going and going with what seems like pleasant and then snide comments at the same time.
I'm a dwarf. That's alright. And I hand out 5 gold. I'll talk to Miko in the morning about this. And I see if we can get the room. So.
And he says, first door on the left, upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And as you go up, you hear him call out, "If you break it, you bought it."
Okay. I'd be carefully go into the room and make sure I don't break anything. Extremely careful.
Half the town then, is that what you're saying?
Sparky's going, okay. I need to work on my quarter relationship. I keep telling them. So okay. I've got some things to do while we try to solve these potential murders. So anyway, I'm just gonna put my pack back down, sleep, and then when it's in the morning, I'll go over and help fix the house if I'm allowed to help. So
Okay, so
go ahead.
you lie on the bed and you get a bit of a sloshing feeling as you do so.
Section feeling.
Yep.
Okay.
Then you feel the drip on your face.
Shit. Yes. Is there like water in this whole room, or?
There are some leaks here and there. Then you notice the buckets in various places around the place.
Okay.
He wasn't joking. He wasn't joking about the weather damage.
No, I'm going to bring out the bedroll.
Mm-hmm.
Just at least assuming it's going to be one of those nights. I find possibly the driest possible area in the room, which looks the driest, and then see if I can just snuggle up in there. Realise it's going to be one of those nights, and work about mending fences, actually in relationships as well as fences officially, in the morning. So.
Okay. So, morning comes around rather late for most people because the storm's up in even stronger than it was overnight. And
aside from Sparky, are there any issues with roofs or things like that during the night? Like the rest of us enjoy the sound of heavy hail on the roof, on the solid roof?
There are occasional bits of water getting through and buckets and patching, but not unusual in a village that happens, especially in a storm.
Especially not one that Sparky walked through last week.
But Koya did have friends and family over expecting the storm. So you get entertained by music most of the night, considering it's very hard to sleep with the sound of the roof moving and the beams shifting and the shutters banging. So it is a rather noisy night.
I think Mark's on a phone call. He just put a message in the chat just to let you know in case you didn't see it.
Yep, Mark says he'll be on the phone now. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you hear a lot of banging and other stuff, but you've got music going.
Okay, so that's right. Actually, certainly we can catch up and regale each other with good tales and music and things like that well into the late night. So it understandably makes it a late morning, especially if the storm's still going.
Yes, Koya says the storm will most likely last 3 or 4 days. It is basically a storm-swept coast.
During the evening, Corda will actually aim to speak to Koya and Amiko and ask about rumours of a murderer in Sandpoint.
She says that
deeds.
She says that the priestess has been rather quiet of late and secretive, so if anyone would know, she would know at the temple.
Yeah. But has anyone obviously missing from around town, or?
Being winter, a lot of people end up missing during winter. There's been Hell Knights bringing in packages from out in the farmlands nearby. So if there's been dead out there, they've been able to keep it quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So what brings you back to Sandpoint so quickly, she says.
Okay. We were planning on being back faster, but as I said, we had the issue with our dwarven companion that we were hoping to get fixed, and then took a bit longer to get fixed than planned. And okay, he'll quite happily fill call you in on the details of to get back to Hisseltop and the fact that they had to go to Magdamar, and yes, at least suppressed, if not just removed, the corrosive effect of Sparky's presence.
Yes,
And now, okay, returned. Well, A, get the house fixed up again, through, but also, yes, concern over these rumours that it even reached Magdamar about potential murders in Sandpoint. So I'm glad to hear that they're potentially, or the rumours are clearly exaggerated if they're not necessarily being, if you obviously weren't aware of them significantly. So.
She hasn't been brought in to consult. She's not really got on well with the Hell Knights, so there's a reason for that. But now that you're here, she does then spread out a map on the table, saying Amiko has asked if she can help her out on an expedition. She wants
back on the travel, back get the caravan back on the road again.
Yeah, I've put in a few calls with some friends, and hopefully we'll get a caravan or two up here. But she wants us to take her up to Brynewall because she's heard that she's got a family legacy up there.
That's quite true. Is Amiko involved in this conversation, looking at the maps and things?
Yeah,
well?
she is, as is Shilelu.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, well, hey, that sounds quite a trip. And family connections, I thought you lost all your family, had you not?
I thought I had two, she says, until she pulls out a sword and saying Shilelu found this in the swamp to the south of Sandpoint. And it appears to be a family blade.
Or if she's happy to allow Corda to hold the sword, he'll have a look at it and express his admiration for the fine blade.
Give me a perception roll as you handle the blade.
20.
Okay, you do notice that there is a secret compartment in the hilt, and that the writing on the blade is in Tian.
Okay. I said, yeah, well, Corda doesn't speak Tian, so obviously we know so. But he'll actually aim to try and open the compartment. Basically, at the time he's doing it, basically look at the others and confirming that were you aware of this?
Says, yes, that's where the information was stored.
Ah. I'm not certain that I will be able to accompany. I'd love to actually take the trip up with you to Brynewall, but depending on when you're leaving.
Not for at least 6 months. We want to head out with midsummer, giving enough time for the ground to be as dry as possible so the wagons can get up there.
Ah, very good. Well, in that case, I will certainly be back to talk to you about exactly where the departure is, and I would love to help escort you. So, especially if it's like so. So Koi is indicating that she's planning on going for the trip as well.
She is, yes.
Yeah. Well, yes. So Cordar's definitely. If it's 6 months, then he'll be saying, "Well, hey, absolutely, I'd plan on coming with you if you're happy to have my company."
I'm sure it will help. Plus, I'm sure it's been a while since we've travelled together.
Well, the last time was certainly somewhat memorable. Oddly enough, about the time that they were travelling to look at some in the possibility of murders that had been occurring back then too.
Yeah, so she's glad that if you're here, you'll be able to solve it like you did last time.
Yeah.
You've obviously got a knack for it.
Yeah. So I wonder if the Hell Knights will be as disruptive to the processes as they were in Ilsenden.
Well, these ones seem to be a bit more mellow. They're not as how shall we say it, stuck on a pole as the ones in Corvosa.
I had noted that apparently not all Hell Knights are cut from the same cloth.
Some are worse than the ones in Corvosa, so be aware that they probably put them at the baseline. You get some better and some worse. Luckily, we've got some okayish ones here, if you can call someone who worships a devil okayish.
Mm-hmm. The ones in Magnemar seem to be, again, certainly somewhat better than what I experienced in Ilsuna. So, although admittedly, that might also be as much the being reflected by Cordar's initial reaction and understanding of Hell Knights and the fact that the ones in Magnemar are a lot more diluted.
Okay, so anything else you want to discuss while you're here?
Okay, it'll be an opportunity to catch up on bits and pieces. Probably a bit of discussion about, okay, what confirmation of what works will need to be done on the house to repair the damage done by that dwarf.
Well, we've managed to replace the beams in the roof, considering it was winter. We wanted to make sure we got in before the storm. Yeah, Koi has always been good at predicting when they'll come.
Yeah. During the evening, Cordar will also go downstairs to actually check that the teleportation circle is actually still effective, but also that the tunnel leading off to the Temple of Wrath, or the Master's side, is still well sealed up. And
so as you go down, you realise that it's about knee deep in water at the moment. Your seal was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it's very good at keeping the water in here too.
Is there anything else being stored down here other than the circle, or are they cleared out from the circle?
Well, you had it cleared out, and they'd taken other stuff upstairs, leaving it rather empty.
That they had noted that it was flooding, so therefore they'd already moved stuff upstairs when needed. So.
Well, the reason that they broke into the tunnels previously was that's where the water was going.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, yeah. Look in the morning then for A, where the water's coming in from, and or B, whether or not we've then got to create some sort of technique or system or allow space for the water to get out. Yes.
You see Shalelu head pops down while you're down there going, so does this mean Bucket Brigade again?
So This has only just started flooding up, is that the information?
It floods up most rains.
Yeah. Well, Corda responds with, it'll be a morning job. No point trying to bucket it while the rain's still coming down. So,
She agrees that you'll probably not be able to get to it for at least 3 days.
and as long as it's not actually going to get any higher and you drop the bits and pieces,
It really gets above waist height.
and we'll recheck the foundation so we can dry it out.
Okay, so now that each of you are stuck in your location for 3 days, what do you want to do during that time?
So effectively, the weather is such that it discourages movement even within the town.
It is. It's still got random hail throughout the day.
Okay. Well, that's okay for Corda because he's happy to be doing construction work, repairs internally as far as possible, and I'm just wondering, does anyone in the party have a effectively the destroy water spell, i.e. the reverse of create water?
If anyone would, Parry has a chance.
I don't know, I can't remember in Pathfinder whether you need to actually have both spells separately available to you, or whether it's you have one spell you can cast reverse off when you need to.
I think you
Or possibly Koya.
I think Koya might have it. It's a druidic spell, isn't it?
I was just trying to check up what it was, because I'm just thinking that would certainly be a lot easier than a bucket game,
It would.
especially while it's still raining.
Okay, so create water is a single thing. Looking if there was a destroy water.
Have a reverse.
Create water does not have a reverse.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so your what is Willie doing during those 3 days of storm?
I want to take some time to spend with both the wife and the child.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get the fatherly feelings going.
Mm-hmm.
But I also I want to make the most of the apparent immunity of myself to walk around and find the rest of the party and see how they're going.
You have no problems walking down the street. The wind just feels like a nice cool breeze as sheets of ice go flying past you.
Awesome. I'll stop in on with the rest of the party, go to the inn, see if they're staying there, go to Quarter's place to see if they're there, find out how they're going, see what they're doing.
You find Sparky huddled in the fireplace of the room that she's staying in.
Okay. Spend some time just having a chat, see how she's going, the kid is, and then the rest of the group.
Okay, so you were snoring loudly as you arrived.
Oh, in that case, I don't wake her up.
And you have a nice, pleasant walk out to Koya's place.
Nice.
and are welcomed inside when you get there.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Ask how everyone's doing, whether they need anything.
Does anyone in the house, in particular Corner, notice the odd effect when Willie's walking towards the house?
Well, you
Bone dry.
see Willie come in bone dry and but basically looking quite skimpily dressed for the weather.
Okay, so Corner thinks, oh, maybe we'll get Willie to stand up on the roof. How big an area is he covering?
Well, the ground around him's still getting wet, just that none of it seems to be hitting him.
Right. Pretty good. You had a good night?
Yes. Very nice. Very comfortable. How you and yours? How are you doing?
Nice and cozy in here. Plenty of good company.
Do you need anything?
Well, I guess as soon as this rain stops, we should be investigating like the murders we came up for. I understand you've spoken to your good lady as to and found more information about what the situation is. Can we afford to wait out the rains?
Well, 20 dead bodies aren't going anywhere, if that's what you're asking.
20.
Yes, that was my reaction.
What's the population of Sandpoint?
A couple of hundred. But if you're talking about the hinterlands around Sandpoint, you're talking about a couple of thousand.
Okay, right, thanks. So yeah, and so from what Corey was saying, so the implication being that they weren't local townsfolk. Or at least that's apparently too many local townsfolk have been missing. So, but yeah, so 20. So where have they found? Where they come from? Where they found? What?
Don't know. They're obviously not locals, since the locals aren't running around screaming about murderers. I assume they're farmers and that sort of thing around the place.
So you're saying you saw the bodies?
Yes.
Did your good lady say where the bodies had got? Presumably they weren't all found in the temple.
No, they were brought there.
Where did they come from?
As I say, around Sandpoint, effectively.
Cornell will, I don't know how you're going to get around in the area or think like in the house or things like that at the moment, but certainly I don't think there's anyone in the house that Cornell would be particularly concerned about secrecy from. So, yeah, he would certainly be, yeah. Well, if there's still a map out that was talking about the distance to Brian Hold, or the
Yep.
Brian
Wall.
The annual one that has a more detail around Sandpoint type stuff, then you'll certainly say, well, where do they come from? Where's it going through? So,
I vaguely wave somewhere near Sandpoint.
your wife, did you not find out the information as to where these bodies had come from?
I had other things happening at the time.
More important than investigating 20 dead bodies?
At the time, yes, definitely.
What sort of things could possibly be more important?
I'm sure if you use your imagination, you'll come up with something.
No, I find it difficult to understand anything that would be more important than Okay, we've been sent up here to investigate some murders. Presumably it was the order of a couple of them, but you're saying there was 20.
Is like
And
in the background.
they've only been occurring in the last recent times. Because obviously there was nothing mentioned of it beforehand. So
You hear from across the room,
understand.
from Amiko going, it's been happening in the hinterlands.
That doesn't make it better.
Does it make it worse?
So we're saying they're goblins?
Humans.
She
No,
says
I
that
mean, goblins doing the killing. If it's in the hinterlands, that would probably explain.
Amiko pipes up
Or
again.
all the goblins are gone.
No, they've all been done with precision instruments. Something goblins are not well known for. There's been torture involved, which points normally towards Talaxian interests. Which is part of the reason why Lady Rose has not made it public.
Well, obviously you haven't got all the details we need right now, so perhaps we should go back to the temple to get more information.
Sure. Let's do that.
I'll join you when the hail stops. Amigo calls out.
I can lend you a shield.
Not going out in that sleet, she says. I'll probably make it halfway before I catch something.
Well, Cordar will basically aim to walk out. I don't know if Duka and or Harry are coming with us as well. Cordar's plan is basically walk out with 2 shields, one above his head and one in front of him, or against the wind type stuff, and be aiming to move rapidly towards the temple. Can't understand how you could possibly think there was something more important than 20 dead bodies.
You've been an elf for too long. Maybe a longer period of time as a human might bring a little bit more imagination to you.
Well, he also knows that he's still a child by elven terms.
True. True.
Yeah.
I'm an innocent child.
As I said, Jesus in the background doing like bouncing around house.
So does Doozer and Perry join them?
Sure.
Yep. Along the way, Harry gets Doozer's attention, and we'll start talking to Doozer about the Sandpoint Devil and what he identified from the last battle in terms of the Sandpoint Devil being susceptible to fear and whatnot.
Jesus very interested. Not that he can ask fear, but he's the kind of person who's like, ooh, I could be like all tough and make him fear me.
So if you're saying this while you're walking to the cathedral, I'll have Doozer have a perception roll with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Perception roll with disadvantage.
It is during a hailstorm.
In the middle of the storm. You picked the worst.
Let me tell you this really interesting.
I was going to try and do while we're inside, but I couldn't get the chance to talk. And
Well, I mean, you could retro it if it helped. But, you know what, this is fucking. That's not bad. My lowest roll is 10, so that is a total of 21? Sorry, perception, you said,
Yep,
right?
perception, yes.
Yeah, 21.
Okay, so as you're walking along, you hear Parry say the secret to the Sandpoint Devil is, and then the storm takes over. As Parry just continues to talk, and you're just seeing your mouth moving, and sound of hail and stuff as you reach the temple.
Can I hear it?
Give me a perception roll.
I'm gonna say that.
Dude.
8 on the dice, plus, what's that? 7, 15.
So you hear the secret, and then it just stops with the storm. But whatever the secret is, Dooz is interested.
Mm.
I think Dooza heard me.
No.
Not a chance.
When we get to the temple, just like physically like picks you up, takes you to a room, and shuts the door.
Okay.
Before anyone can say anything.
So you're in a private room. There's just the two of you and 20 bodies.
Can't hear us, right?
And the dead don't talk or listen.
Pretty much.
And
At least not usually, except of course the ones that came through the Baronowns as we were walking came across the Sandpoint Devil.
And as you rush into that room and shut the door, Lady Ruby turns to her husband and goes, "They are quite eager, aren't they?
Yeah.
Never put it past Parry.
Should we hang a sock?"
Yes.
No.
At least didn't know Dooza swung that way.
Come on, Em, make the fanfics reality. My God, we live in the same house. We may as well be dating in the game.
It's not
Yeah,
like Barry
no,
has any preferences.
And let's face it, it's not like Dooza reads Harry's fancy.
Yeah.
No. He literally had it inserted into his brain.
No, yeah, it's in there. And Dooza has seen it.
Literally inserted into my brain.
Okay, so what is it you wanted to tell Parry when you got into the room for some private time?
It's like, what did you say? You said the secret to the Sandpoint Devil, and then I couldn't hear anything. What did you say?
Why, Dooza, you have lovely eyes.
And what a shiny tusk you have.
Ah. I've never had such a big, burly half-orc man handle me so much.
Parry feels warm to the touch for a change.
Yeah, Sandpoint Devil.
Juice is like this close to throwing, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll try it. The Sandpoint Devil."
Yeah. As I see the fist being wound up. Oh yeah. Sandpoint Devil, yes. Right. When you're busy getting when you're getting your face kicked in,
Yes.
I quickly identified the Sandpoint Devil. Its weakness is fear. Or one of its weaknesses is fear. It's susceptible to fear.
So do you know fear?
Well, the thing is, do I know fear?
Or can I be a fearsome orc enough to scare Sandpoint Devil?
I reckon if you could... It's intimidate, isn't it? That
It
causes
is.
fear.
You could be quite intimidating.
So if you are big, burly, vicious enough and intimidating enough, you could possibly fear it.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
But that's probably all that I got from my identification from that session, Martin, wasn't it?
Let me see if there's anything else I can throw in that you may have picked up in the meantime. Ugh. Considering
Looking through my books.
you have had some downtime.
Oh shit, that's my journal and book. Basically, I'm going to give Gooza knowledge. Hopefully, getting through the coconut skull.
Okay, so that's where you reinforce that it's immune to fire and fear.
Oh, it's immune to fire and fear.
Yep, I thought I would correct that part at this point after that long, very useful interlude beforehand.
Yes.
I vaguely remember hearing that it was fear.
It causes fear.
It causes this fear. I don't know why. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Which I'm sure Sparky would be able to detail in interesting points. You also know its main weakness is cold iron.
Cold iron.
Yeah, which is why I've left my favoured weapons in the hands of Lady Highmarsh.
It's known to have multiple spells at its disposal.
Yeah, we figured that.
Which you're...
Dead being one of them, presumably.
So, Dimension Door, Phantasmal Killer, Stinking Cloud, Obscuring Mist, Gust of Wind, and Produce Flame are all spells it can toss.
Ouch.
It can also fly.
Yeah, well, we knew that.
As much as it was basically messing around with us on the ground.
And it has Cursed Breath.
Yeah, we figured that as much too.
Which means if you fail by enough, it will actually be so painful it burns you.
Wait.
Oh.
Make you pregnant.
I was about to say it impregnates you.
I wonder why this sounds familiar.
Its howl is frightful to the weak-minded. Well, this is more from Perry's perspective, so he can actually pass it on.
Yeah.
And
Willie's in trouble.
it's very good at doing the stomp because it has the standard four-legged animal trample attack.
Yeah. Like I said, when Juza was getting their face kicked in.
But it's also got the skills of a fighter, as it does have attack of opportunity, which is very rare for a lot of creatures.
Yes, but this is the Sandpoint Devil. I presume Juza knew some of this from his studies, and yes, Juza has done study on this. Surprise, surprise.
You have heard of some of this before. It's nice to have it also replicated by someone else's study.
Yeah. Have it confirmed by an actual scholar.
Well, the buffer scholar are around.
Yeah, that too.
I'm sure your god will approve greatly. If you remember to thank him. So, I'm just curious to see if you'll do another by Gorm again.
No. I learned that lesson.
He jumped out. I'll be back.
Connection issues. Woo!
Yes. So yes. What do you do next after explaining about the Sandpoint Devil?
User thanks Parry, and then opens the door and leaves.
I say no problem, champ, and slap Juza on the ass. What do you expect was going to happen?
I mean,
And to Parry's surprise, it is quite a nicely firm butt as it goes out.
I'm not surprised by that at all. It is Juza.
And possibly to Duke's surprise, it was definitely a solid pack.
Yeah.
Carrying the belt.
well, I mean, Parry could probably actually lift User.
Yep.
Without issue now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know. His carry weight in that terms is almost on par with Deuce's. Almost.
Yeah, that's right. So it was a solid pack.
Okay, so yes, it's like "Oh, that was quick," is the first comment you hear as you enter the room with Ruby. "I'm so sorry," she says.
User
If,
doesn't mind.
Give Parry a disapproving look. Just disappointed.
Well, certainly, Corda would be encouraging the idea of when next time we got in there, having a bit curious at the fact that Duker and Harry immediately went off into another room. Because obviously he didn't hear any of the conversation because he was holding a steel shield above his head and a steel shield in front of him. There was certainly nothing he was hearing about that when he was coming along.
And that's when you find out, once you get in, that they went into the room with all the bodies to obviously get a leg up on the investigation.
Well, it basically, yeah. So Corda will be saying, so, yeah. Well, I understand, like, talking to, well, I don't know, has he met
Does
Willie's lady before?
He has. He was at the wedding.
Okay, yep. And so then he'll immediately go up to her and say, "So I understand that there's been a lot more than murders around here. Willie was saying there was 20.
Yes,
How the hell is this not being reported? And
it has been
kept
reported.
secret?
It has been reported. Those who need to know.
So where have they been found? What's the information we have?
Apparently, Amiko is a body magnet. She finds them everywhere, she says with a lot of sarcasm. At first we thought she was the murderer because she keeps stumbling across these dead bodies wherever she goes.
Was Amiko at the house when we were talking, trying to pull out the map, and I was trying to get from Billy as to where the bodies were found?
She was trying to help, but you ended up going. You'll go and talk to Ruby instead.
Okay. Because obviously, yes, if she mentioned that she knew where the bodies were, because in the same sense as, like I said, when you've been talking to Koya and Shalailu, yes. Presumably, Amiko was there talking and asked about the murders or being involved in the conversation. Then.
Well, she wasn't involved in the conversation. She was playing music for everyone else.
Okay.
Because you had gone for a private word with Koya.
Yeah, happy with that. If she was the musician, that makes sense. Well, in that case then, Corda will look towards Willie and say, "Oh, didn't you say that Amiko was involved? We could have brought her along or talked to her already."
I would have thought you would have guessed that, considering she seemed to know a lot about what was going on.
Oh, no, she didn't say anything about what was going on because she wasn't involved in the conversation. But, okay, well, we can go and catch up again with her soon. We might as well... What do we know from here then?
Well, I was going to suggest you examine the bodies and tell me what you think, but we've got to wait for the other two to be finished with the room first.
You're in the, so the bodies are in there? Corda's immediately going in there.
She says, look, they won't be long. I'm sure we can just wait the few moments it takes for them to have whatever time they're having together.
And presumably that's when
The door opens.
Percy's way out.
So, well, Corda's thinking, no. He doesn't want Duga and Parry in the room with the bodies, destroying whatever evidence might be there. He doesn't care or even think about what they might be doing. He's just thinking about what will happen.
It's the miscellaneous fluids that have got you going, isn't it?
Well, no, okay. Corda is not even thinking anything along those sort of lines. He's just saying, hang on. Parry and Duga, yep. Boiler kind of shop is definitely amongst those metaphors that come to mind. So.
Okay, so Dooza pushes past you as you see Parry in the doorway with a grin on his face.
Oh, well, okay. He's going to look at the bodies and so. Yeah.
Do I see Willie's disappointing look?
Yep.
I give him a wink.
I just shake my head.
I say to Willie, "You're next, big boy."
Sure. I just hope you perform better than you did with Duzo. I'm a pitcher, by the way, just so you know.
We're saying this right in front of his wife.
She doesn't mind. She'll join in. She's Galaxian. That's all part of the upbringing.
Yep.
Okay, so Cordar walks into the room and sees... He does see the 20 bodies lying out on the slabs ready to be examined. At the foot of each slab is all their gear and clothing.
Any descriptions or information about where they've been found, what the surroundings were, any other bits and pieces were found with them?
There are a couple of scrolls at their feet as well. You pick it up and there seems to be... you recognize Amiko's handwriting. Describing the scene and what she found when she was there.
Okay.
And her guesses as to how long they were there for and what may have caused it.
Any money?
There is money there, yes.
Okay.
Cordar will go through and look at read all the information about each body, or whatever information is there for the things. Because it's not like he's an expert in autopsies or anything like that. He's an expert in creating dead bodies. But yes, he will certainly be reading the information first and then having a look at a body and seeing if he understands what she's talking about. And
well, the notes do give you a lot of pointers because Amiko is describing how each body shows marks of torture and ritualistic carvings before finally killing the person, and that the carvings seem to be honoring the goddess Lamastu. They all appear to have been done by same individual. And left-handed cuts. She does describe that she believes the length of the blade is about a foot in length, sharp on one side, not pointed.
Certainly like a blunt-ended knife, is that what she's describing? Like not with a point, it's just
give me a... what would be a good roll for that? I've got a character sheet here somewhere.
Investigate?
If it's effectively a weapon, then it might be a class skill check type thing. But...
Well, give me a class skill check. As a fighter, you have a greater chance of knowing the sort of weapon she's describing.
And 14. Where's my class modifier? I can't find where he's on the dice, but it must be at least 20. So it's a 14, 35 level.
And
must be at least trained for +2, would be make it 21. And then when there's an ability check involved, or like a modifier, then but it's at least 21, plus 5 if it's strength-based ability, or is it just a generic thing?
Okay, so, well, we'll go if it's enough. You do recognise the description of it being what's known as a war razor, or a flick knife, or a But basically, it's a square-ended blade which is sharp on one side only, and sort of almost like a triangular blade in that sense.
So we're almost talking about a large version of a
Barber's razor.
yeah. Okay.
And you can tell from Amiko's notes that she's quite well versed in anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
She does.
Oh, sorry.
She does have a supposition later on stating that she believes some organs were removed, which are usually the ones high in nutritional value.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point,
not only murderer, but cannibal.
at that point, Sparky walks into the room.
Wait, what was that?
At that point, Sparky walks into the room.
Okay. But yeah, is there indications of the fact that some portions of each body have been eaten or removed, sorry, or just some bodies had some parts removed?
Going through the lot of them, it looks as if the longest dead ones didn't have parts removed, but the more recent ones had more parts removed. So the further you go back, the more it's just scarring and damage to having organs missing. So it's like there's a progression over time.
And I was about to say, part of that progression in descriptions, is there evidence or indications that the torture and or the surgery, I guess is the appropriate term, has becoming more precise or more proficient over time, or?
It does note that the strokes started out as hesitant and have become very short.
Right, okay, yeah.
And that the deaths have been occurring about 2 days apart and have been going for, at this point, about 40 days in total. They only discovered the bodies about a week and a half ago.
Okay. But she was able to recognise that there was definitely differences in the age of the deaths.
The first 3 bodies showed signs have been tied up for longer periods of time. So she believes that the the second 2 bodies witnessed the death of the first, and so on and so on.
In which case, so the bodies have been found in groups?
Only the first 3 were found in groups.
Okay.
Besides that, nearly everyone has been someone who's been living on their own or a traveller passing through.
Okay.
She does have the supposition that whoever's committing these crimes knows the locals enough that they haven't been targeting locals.
Or at least deliberately going for ones who would be less missed.
That was basically, even though some locals have died, she basically said that they were most likely targeting non-locals. That was the inference you got as well, but you also picked up that they are targeting the vulnerable as well.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy that this is certainly taking quite our time to working through all these notes and information.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what others are doing at this time, although apparently Sparky might arrive.
Sparky's arrived. You can see a lot of suggestive looks between Dooza, Parry, and Willie, and the High Cleric Ruby. So I believe
Absolutely nothing going on here.
It's okay, I just looked up and noticed Mark's dropped off again.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Let's see
There it
here.
is.
20 bodies to look through.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark, I'll say that again for you now that you're back, is that you, as you come into the room, you notice a lot of suggestive looks between Dooza, Parry, Willie, and Ruby, the High Cleric of the Cathedral.
Okay, I missed the last half an hour, 40 minutes, so
That's
I don't know
okay.
if all I heard is about a certain sword that I know had a hilt issue. That's the last I heard. So, yeah. Okay. Cool. I just look around and go, whatever, and just ignore it. Yeah.
And then you sort of notice that there are three cats taller than you, just sitting staring at you from the shadows.
I say that. Not in a loud voice, cat. Because I know cat, don't I?
You do know cat.
Yeah.
And you do get a growl in the back of your mind.
Oh. We're still good, aren't we? I say my mind.
You do get another growl in the back of your mind. You're not sure if that's a good or a bad growl. Hard to tell.
Hey?
Well, you're not dead yet, so it must be good.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. So my Discord actually wanted to do updates and disconnected me. So just when I came back off the phone, it's like, oh, really?
Nice timing.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. So sorry, I was just spaced out there for a bit. What's going on, Corda?
Gorda's busy reading in another room. He doesn't listen to you.
Oh, that's something I'm still working on.
Well, I mean,
Really?
if you come into the other room and see where Cordar's actually there, you get a room full of 20 dead bodies with depletion. So he has got just right to be distracted. It turns out all the bodies have got some information that apparently Willie ignored and didn't bother talking about when he came over and say, hang on.
Considering I want to build my relationship with Cordar so I can get that back in the house eventually, I would like to seek where Cordar is and dead bodies, and can I do a medicine check on there?
Sure. You can give me a medicine check.
Oh, I thought, why not? Because I got good medicine. That's what the dice not might want to fail, but no, the dice is very good tonight. I like this dice. I am saving this dice. I'm going to frame it like this dice. Okay, medicine a 27.
Okay, looking over the body, you can see that it has been ritualistically tortured before being murdered. Probably tortured over at least 2 days. And the scarring and all that, you recognize immediately is symbolically linked to Lamastu.
Oh. Did you see what I saw, Corda?
Well, so I haven't been looking too carefully at the bodies. I've been reading Amiko's notes that about significant torture on the bodies, and that
you know that when we went down to that temple and those things came out, then some of these dogs went undead. You know, that temple by a certain non-mentioned god that we don't like, and I believe a friend of yours that no longer is a friend of ours had issues with. This seems to be ritual sacrifices to that certain person god. I don't like mentioning that certain. Yeah. So.
Amiko is suggesting in her notes here. Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. So, see, me and Miko, we're on the right track. It's good. Is Miko just going to tap me on top of the head? Yeah?
What if she was in the room?
Okay. That's all right. I'm so used to doing it for the other characters, sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you go ahead, and I'll go out and see what everyone else is doing. So, seems like he's looked at. I've put my 5 bobs worth in, and see what else is going on around the place. Okay.
As you walk into the other room, you hear Ruby talking about pleasure and pain. And everyone stops and looks in your direction.
Why me? I just say out loud and realise I said out loud kind of thing.
Are you volunteering? She says.
No, I believe your lovely husband needs to be taught more lessons in that, I believe. Is that the case?
What do you think I've been spending the night doing? She says.
Look, I'm sure you have, and I feel that he's been away for a couple of days, and he might need a bit more lessons, possibly. But that's between you and him. I think I need to give you some family time as such. So, and I'll try to find somebody else in another direction, completely away from this conversation. So.
Okay, so yes, you turn and there's Willie standing right in front of you.
Really? Your wife needs you, and I just walk past you.
Okay, so
The
what do you...
demon's having a real effect on you, mate.
I walked in on you guys. I don't need any more than that. That's enough for me. So. And that's when I had my decay issues. So I think I've dealt with enough in that situation. Look, hey, what you do in your own place is what you do in your own place. I don't judge. So. I'll try to find anyone else, but see if you can find Doozer or somebody else that can, see what's going on.
Okay, so you turn around a bit more and there's Doozer just standing there. What does Doozer say?
Not a word. Not a word.
Okay, so what I've got, sorry, I've been a bit out of this whole situation here. Corda's investigating, reading a book, which I thought the last person that we should be reading a book. We've got bodies in there that have had ritual issues to them.
He's not reading a book. He's reading
Notes.
a couple of pages of notes about if it's attached to each of the bodies.
Okay, well, pretty much what he's reading is what I found when I looked at the bodies, but that's okay. Is there anything else we're looking into at the moment that relates to this, or is this we're just waiting for Corda to get back to us on his findings? I mean, I'm looking at Parry particularly about this because I thought Parry would be all over this like a rash that he mentioned in his stories on the way up to. Yeah. Okay. Well, Parry might, Parry did mention about certain stories about rashes on the way up to Sandpoint before, on the whole long trip that I learned a lot about history about his family. I thought he would be, may know some background of some of the stuff.
Yes, he knows quite a lot of diseases you can catch from the dead.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I got a bit sick myself. But, okay, well, I'm happy just to, if I find a chair, sit down and just wait for is Amika around, or was she just given notes and then walked away?
No, she didn't. She's still in the Koya's place, considering the hailstorm's still happening.
The place that I must not visit. Okay, gotcha. So that's fair enough. So
Amika's suggestion was to wait until the storm finished before going and checking the bodies.
Okay, very cool. I was stuck in the inn for the whole time. Is that correct? Or?
No, you basically went out in the storm to go to the temple.
Fair enough.
Which is what we also did too, but...
And I knocked before I came in to make sure I didn't bust into anything this time around. So okay. Well, I'll just sit down and wait based on Ordar's reading the rest of the information, but I'm thinking to myself, I only know one certain temple of a certain person that I'm aware of that's nearby, which we went to originally. The question is there another one that we don't know about? Now, I don't know about the one from previous members of a party, but I wonder if there's anything.
Sparky would be aware of the...
Would you have told me that, or?
Well...
Yeah, okay, if you told me that, yeah,
okay,
you were there.
Certainly, when we've come across other ones at the base of the Crow and at the base of Thistletop and things like that,
yeah,
the discovery of one under Sandpoint would have come up in conversation.
Okay. So, and I suppose the question is, if Willie's lovely wife is not exposed in other situations, I'll ask a question. But would she know about that place under the Sandpoint rule, or has she been told about that in the past, or from us, or?
Yes, she does know about the shrine to Lamastu under Sandpoint.
Would that possibly be the place where this some of the stuff might have been done. Should we go down and investigate that area? I ask out loud. That's all.
She says you're welcome to, but she hasn't actually seen any sign of anything coming out of there.
Okay.
Not since
what-
Pimwinkle left. Has anything been seen moving down there?
Would the Death Knights have gone down there to check it at any stage?
They check on it about once a week.
Okay, so we can rule that out. I
And
mentioned
considering
to her
she also points out none of the dead have been found in Sandpoint, but all in the regions around it. So it's very unlikely that the culprit is actually staying in the
Sandpoint, area, yeah.
Right?
Would it be a possibility there's another? So it's all around, not in one area outside of Sandpoint. It's every area outside of Sandpoint. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, it's in the surroundings around Sandpoint.
Okay. But we are probably dealing with somebody who has a fixation with a certain god. Is that correct? Would that be a good kind of
the markings that have been cut into them.
Yeah. So if it's not a location where these markings are done, and this is Sparky talking out loud, and people can interrupt her at any stage. Would it be? We need to find an individual who's possibly doing this on behalf of maybe their deity of some sort that'd be roaming the lands kind of thing.
Well, she did request investigators to find out who was causing it. So, assuming that's what an investigator does, she says.
That's cool. That's fair. I just thought I'd ask to get any more information. So, we're heading out, guys. Well, the first thing I'm thinking, but waiting for Corda to finish. He's in deep reading situation. So, but I'll wait for Corda to finish, then I'll bring it up. I think.
Okay, it takes Cordar about an hour to get through all the writings. There are 20 different sets of...
That's good, yeah. Like I was saying, it'll take quite some time to actually get through, so this is why I was happy that the others had time to do stuff. Hopefully not just sitting around waiting for Cordar to finish reading, but hey.
So, does anyone else do any investigations while Cordar is reading?
Probably will do some investigations.
Okay, so...
I might head back to a certain house and see if I can help with any fixing of things, just to see if I still get the good books eventually.
Okay, the hailstorm is still going on strong. And
Okay, it's still going on. I won't go out there then. If it gets sunny and we got some spare weather, we'll go out and help fix up fences at least. So, but sounds like it's too rainy outside and yeah.
Okay, so what is Parry going to do to investigate? Because it would be a perception roll to have a look at things. And what's he looking for?
Parry's going to look towards any kind of magical properties of any of these wounds inflicted, like burns or basically any residual magic effects or something.
Okay. Give me an Arcana check.
Arcana. 28.
28. Having a good look at them, it doesn't look as if magic was used in the torture or capture of these people.
Okay.
You can basically confirm that pretty easily because there's just so much done to them that you wouldn't need to do that if you could just paralyze them with magic or use magic to inflict what you want on them.
Yep. Harry's going to look closely into how each one of these 20 people died.
Mm-hmm.
Or in terms of like, is it wasn't there with Corda, but like same MO, same weapon. Well, I'm assuming it's the same weapon if we're going along the same killer here.
Any rope burns
I
or
would
that sort
certainly
of
think
thing?
you're making these investigations at the same time as Cordar's still in the room, because he's still
Yeah, because it's
taking
going
time reading through. So.
Well, yeah.
it's going to take him time to read through. So yes, there are rope marks on some of them, not all of them.
So the ones that don't have rope marks, do they have head wounds?
They do have head wounds.
Okay. Any particular kind of rope that may have been used that might suggest it was procured, some sort of occupation or...
Well, they look to be.
Sort
You can identify the markings as being silk rope.
Okay, that can't be common.
It is not.
Certainly
It's
higher
not.
quality.
It's not common at all, and that in itself is quite suspicious. Because why would you use silk rope? Because if someone can tell it was used in a crime, that would obviously tell you're involved in it, and no silk rope has been left at the bodies, and no one's been buying silk rope in bulk. It has actually been checked.
Any kind of religious connotations for silk rope? Those people with the skills?
I can roll a religion check if you want me to.
Sure.
So, let's see what skills are at. Not trained in, so not really, won't be too good.
You still get to add your level.
Yeah.
You've still got Pathfinder Society, so.
Can I use my Pathfinder lore to see if I know of any, like, a silk specialisation with...
Well, what
This
did you
one
get
is
with
before.
your check first?
Okay, yeah, good. 9 plus 5 is 14.
14. Okay, so you're guessing Lamaster.
Yep. With the... And while we're looking at this, with the potential silk being used for wrapping up some of these people, is that a common thing for rituals? Can I use my Pathfinder lore for that kind of stuff? Or
It's more of an occult sort of check.
occult? I can do a occult check of +5, I suppose, if that's alright with you.
I'm happy
You
for
probably
you.
start at +5, because maybe with the Pathfinder adept, you get to add your level plus your ability bonus. You just don't get the +2 cunning to expert type stuff.
Yeah, okay. It's only 11, so I don't think I'm not very skilled in that area. So.
Okay, so look,
Does Sparky mention this to anyone?
Yeah, I do that when I'm on the assumption, and let me know if I'm wrong here. Really? That
Harry
really
will
Yeah.
back you up and do his own
Yeah.
occultism check.
okay.
Okay. Thank you, Barry.
That's okay.
We are family after all now.
Yes.
Close to the family, aren't you?
32.
Definitely
32.
family.
Okay. You have a good look, and everything you know, it would be very unlikely that a ritual would use silk or expensive products on something that could be used as evidence. It would normally be the cultist himself might wear silk robes, but they wouldn't be doing it if they were then going to murder someone, because then they'd probably have to get rid of the robe. So,
So are we looking at like more of a personal vendetta against these people?
well,
This seems very personal.
the idea of silk means in use in something like this means either it is a personal connection to the person that they're using the silk for, or they have enough wealth they don't care if they have to throw away silk rope.
Yeah, so it's either really personal or we have a very rich psychopath. But how many? There were only a few that had silk rope.
Of all the ones that were tied up, which you'd say probably is about 3/4 of them, they
Yeah,
all
so
have
that would be-
markings of silk rope on them.
So 15 out of the 20 were.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 5?
The other 5 had head wounds.
The other 5 had head wounds.
Yeah.
So,
Are we dealing with 2 different
well, yeah.
areas, possibly? Or
I'm thinking. Well, I'm looking at. Okay, so somebody has a vendetta against somebody.
Yeah.
Is it possibly some of these people that maybe didn't get tied up were servants of these people? So the person has a vendetta against a family or something like that. And I do ask the, I suppose, Willie's lovely wife to say, are these people related in any sort of way, or are they all from different families or anything?
She shrugs and says they're not from. Most of them aren't from this region.
Huh.
If you take any attention to what Cordar's doing, after he started reading a few of the notes, he actually basically took the time to get a piece of paper out and started to scribble a bit of a map of the area that surrounds the Sandpoint, so he could mark the locations where the bodies had been found.
Yeah.
You'd be able to see that they'd been found over a fairly wide area.
And not near someone's house.
So, as far as we're aware, these people are not connected to each other. They've been found over a wide range of area. And basically, 3/4 of them have been tied and the other 3 have been inflicted with head wounds.
Well, the 5 that had head wounds also show the same ritualistic torture and murder.
So basically, we're looking at the same MO, basically.
Same MO, just some of them apparently were aware of what was happening to them, whereas 5 were not.
And from what Amico was suggesting, is the fact that it's been the same person, the same left-handed person the whole through.
Martin, quick question.
Yep.
The 5 that have head wounds that apparently didn't know, they were the ones that didn't, that it seemed like they didn't know what was going on?
You have a feeling that whatever caused it left them unconscious for the duration.
Were they the first or the last? As in, I'm going to do a medicine roll to see with the body's decay, were they the first or the last batch of the 20?
Well, give me a medicine roll.
While Harry is doing that, I have a look at the map Coda has drawn.
Yep.
Is there any, not sure if logical path is the right word, but is there a sort of
A pattern to
define start point and kind of direction of the murders, or
If we connect the dots, is there a religion symbol somewhere in there?
not a religion symbol, but where they've been found, presumably is going to be close to where, or close enough to where they've been murdered.
Give me a perception roll as you look. And what is Parry's medicine roll?
25.
Okay, so looking through at all the bodies and then going to the map, you do notice that the map has numbers next to all the body locations, and you realize Quarter's already noted down all their order of death.
Mm-hmm.
And that you seem to match up with what you say, though you're a bit hazy between the first 2 because they seem to be fairly close.
Yeah.
And
That's fine.
And the ones that seem to have had their head bashed in seem to be somewhere between 5 and the 5th death and the 10th death.
Oh, okay. Because the thing is, either end, it would have either been basically if it was in the back end, it would have been more indicating to me that the killer was getting sloppy in terms of starting to hit people in the head. But at the front end, it would have indicated to me that the killer's getting more smarter.
Yeah. So it was about the middle, but you think that with considering the first three happened at what appears to be in the same location from the notes that are at the body, that the other ones were. So you think the first three were opportunistic, and then they got smarter over time.
Yeah. Interesting.
Extremely interesting, brother. I say it loud.
Who's got a 28 trying to see if they have a pattern?
Okay, so by the looks of things, that the main pattern is that it appears to be a lone traveller between out of earshot of any of the homesteads or where you expect guards to be patrolling.
Basically, just out of sight of everyone.
And there's quite a few places in this region that fits the bill for, and whoever's been doing it obviously knows the area well enough to be able to pull that off.
Yeah. But there's no, like, distinct pattern of they started in, say, this rural area and moved down or whatever.
Well, they're all within a day's ride of Sandpoint.
So they might be from Sandpoint and travelling out, maybe.
Well, no, because they're not local to Sandpoint. Well, unless they might be locals of Greater Sandpoint.
No. As in the person who's
Doing the
murdering,
killing.
yes, is going out, straying out just far enough to get back within the day, but so he won't get caught. If that makes sense.
It's certainly feasible that he could be staying in Sandpoint, but if he was, then it seems you'd think you would expect more murders or bodies to be found within Sandpoint. If you're actually staying somewhere inside Sandpoint.
With Cora doing this map design, sorry, cool. So Jeremy, I think what I'm looking at was that, like, if they start in the east bay of Sandpoint, like a day out, is it like going around in a circle, or is it going like clockwise, anti-clockwise? Are we seeing that they seem to go in one direction, if that makes sense?
It doesn't seem to follow a pattern, but the only noticeable pattern is that it's within a day of Sandpoint.
Okay. And as I assume Billy's wife's. Sorry that there's coming. Sorry.
And
while he's doing that, then okay, Corda's based upon what Amiko was saying in her notes also is that it's expected that the killer may not necessarily be actually located within Sandpoint, on the fact that none of the body was found there. Is there any other particular site or location that would seem a convenient base from which to operate from or to stay at that would still allow rather easy access to the areas around Sandpoint?
Amiko did tell Ruby that any of the farmsteads are equally suspicious in that sense. A lot of the people here are standoffish, so not willing to talk to the authorities that well, especially not to the Chilaxians.
Yeah.
And it could be basically someone trying to help the Chilaxian authority move on.
as in someone potentially trying to make the law enforcement capability of the collections look bad.
Yeah. And especially by dedicating it to a different god. Because right now they have the 20 bodies with the symbols of Lamastu carved into them in the temple.
Yeah. And so from Cordar's perspective, he's saying, well, yep, a worthy goal to try and get rid of the influence of the Hell Knights, but not necessarily the way to go about it.
And Lady Rose does say that there's no one who's been coming and going from town on a daily basis. They don't have anyone from town who's been missing at the times of all the murders. If it's more than one person in doing this, then it's quite easy for them to have misled them, but all evidence shows that they suspect at least the same person's been involved in all the events.
That's right. And in fact, yes, it's something we had noted in the last couple of visits, and yesterday's arrival type stuff is that, yes, as part of the Hell Knights being in Sandpoint, is they've actually been providing effectively a guard to the entrances and exits from Sandpoint. Is that correct?
That's correct. And they've been noting down everyone who comes and goes.
Yeah, so they would be well aware of it. I mean, obviously, yes, there'd be ways to get around them, but it would take some effort to avoid them all the time. So.
And it would be noticed if they were missing.
Yeah.
Because after the first 5, they started making checks in town to find out where people were during those times.
Okay, assuming this is sort of thing that Cordar finished his reading and prepared the map, and there's a bit of discussion that's going through, and people take another check of particular bodies if they need to, or things like that. Cordar asked the question of with his lady, so who's actually been informed of this situation in town? Obviously, you've managed to keep it fairly considerably quiet, but who's actually been informed? Who are people that we can already talk to quite happily about the situation without necessarily releasing information any further than it already is?
Well, she's kept the sheriff in charge of in charge of the jail, making the locals feel like they've still got a control over the comings and goings of the town, and he's been told what's happening. The town mayor also has been told of what's happening, as has the different religious buildings in town, so they could keep an eye out for anyone that they may patch up or has received unusual damage in that time. So if there's, say, a survivor or a say the culprit himself or herself is injured in some way, that they can actually find out what's happened. But so far, all the chasings they've done hasn't come up with anything, and she's made a promise with the mayor that if any of the town folk end up likewise, then it will be made public to the town, so the people then will have to deal with the horror as it comes. So they don't want another butcher going through town.
Yeah. And just for my purposes also, so Willie's lady, is she actually a Hell Knight or just a priestess of Talaxia?
She is a Hell Knight, one of the spellcasting knights.
Yeah, okay, so she's her. And then, so, going through the people who know in town, if it wasn't mentioned as part of her description, then Cordo, and obviously Amiko is well aware of the situation?
Yes, she found all the bodies. I still don't know how she keeps stumbling over bodies. Apparently she says it's her curse. She keeps finding the dead.
Yes. And when talking of religious leaders. Again, if it wasn't specifically stated, Cordar will confirm that included Koya.
She says Koya doesn't run a temple or healing services. Her mother did for a while before she passed, but Koya never actually opened her doors to practice in town.
Okay, so Koya has not been officially informed. Okay, Cordar will confirm the effectively the names, and he's aware, understanding as someone who grew up in town and recognising everyone. He'll make certain he understands who all the people are that have been officially informed.
There's a paladin and a couple of clerics and a monk. Also, that she does say she's had a few meetings with the various farmsteads to try to see what they know. But
without necessarily informing them of the problem, just trying to find out the investigation. Yep.
Has been discussed with the farmsteads at great length, but as they don't talk to town, there's not really been any cross communication there.
Especially, okay. And yeah, they may not have been willing to talk much to Hell Knights anyway. What about other local personalities who might hear information? So obviously, Amiko runs the Rusty Dragon, and so therefore she might have picked up some information from there. Any other? Are there other inns other than the Rusty Dragon?
There's quite a few inns, and she's got some of her followers listening in on conversations to see if anything breaks that way.
Okay, so it's not like they've been the innkeepers have been told to look out specifically. Probably because they couldn't be trusted to keep a secret anyway, but it's fine.
She does agree that the innkeepers are more likely to pass it on than keep it to themselves.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And so, when was the last body actually found?
The last body was found.
In fact, actually, considering the fact that the bodies have been found actually in only a matter of a couple of weeks, haven't they?
Yeah, so the bodies weren't found when they died. They were all found within the last week and a half, even though they're at least 40 days old for some of them.
Yeah. And so when does it look like the most recent person was killed?
About 2 days before the storm hit.
Right.
She's hoping that the storm will have stayed the murderer for a while.
Well, it'll probably keep at least everyone indoors, so... But I noticed that some apparently can move quite freely through the storm. Looking across at Willie.
You just need to learn to step between the raindrops, that's all.
What was that, Josh?
No, sorry.
So yes, she asks, Ruby asks Corda, what do you suggest we do next, considering her talents do not lie in investigation? At least not when there's a living, breathing person present.
It may be difficult to do much until the hail abates, the storm abates a bit, but I am thinking, so my first plan will be actually go back to speak to Amiko and confirm whether she's got any other information that did not appear in her notes, and then aim to take a look at some of the, at least a couple of the more recent sites where the victims were found. Not that I necessarily expect to find more than Amico might come up with, but is there any evidence in the descriptions for Amico that Shalelu was also involved in helping Amico write up her notes or anything?
There was no indication that Shilelu was involved, and none of the writing matches what Shilelu would do. It would have been a lot cleaner if Shilelu had have written it.
Yeah, it was more the idea of like if, yeah, because whilst Cordar can well picture Amico being able to provide a good medical investigation of the bodies, his gut feel would be that Shillelagh would be better at investigating the surrounds of where the body was found.
And that there's no notes on the surrounds from perspective of a trained tracker.
Okay, yep. But in our conversations this morning before we left home, obviously Shillelagh had been made aware of the killings.
She has now, yes.
Yeah. And the Corday still kicking himself for the fact that apparently he missed Amico saying that, hey, I found all the bodies, what do you want to know?
And you do note down that the Sandpoint lumber mill was where the first 3 bodies were found.
Okay.
Which may give you, and that's basically where they some of the last bodies they found were in the lumber mill.
Wait, it's not that stupid fucking half-brother of Amico's, is it?
Could be.
That
It
prat.
might be why Amico is the one that happens to find them, because the brother knows well enough as to where she's going to end up being.
Juice is like interested now because he's sort of made that connection between that dude, and remember him being an absolute dick to Amico.
Well, he did kill her father.
Now, the brother had been. Now, this was a player. I can't remember.
The brother was let go by the group with the understanding that he would leave the region.
Yeah, I don't know. I meant like because obviously Cordar wasn't involved at that time when the brother became thing. But I'm trying to remember. Was the brother? Did the brother and Amico grow up quite happily in Sandpoint? Like, is the brother someone that Cordar knew from his life in Sandpoint?
You did know because he was another half elf.
Yep.
But he was basically someone who thought of you as beneath him. Because he was from one of the founders' bloodlines and you were not.
Okay. So then, in which case, yeah, presumably Cordar was aware of the interactions that the party had previously, and oh yes, and he'll rattle off the name of the brother and say, indeed, he's not being seen around. And how far away is the sawmill from town?
It's probably about an hour and a half from town.
Mm-hmm. And so they're saying that that's where the earliest bodies were all seemingly found, but also.
Well, there were some of the last bodies found, but they were the first ones killed.
Oh, okay, right, yep.
The sawmill hasn't been in major use for winter. It's normally used during the summer seasons.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, so basically, after the conversation in the temple goes as far as it can go, again, working on the idea that we can't really get out of town during the middle of a storm. Cordar's intent will be to go back to Koya's house and encourage the rest of them to come, even accept Sparky being involved on the idea that Sparky has some knowledge of anatomy and understanding of the sorts of descriptions that Amiko was connected with.
Yeah,
But
100% correct there.
Sorry?
100% correct there. Corda?
But the intent will be to go back to Koya's house to try and talk to Amiko, discuss the bit of the map that he'd made of the sites and confirm that it meets what Amiko's understanding is. Talk about whether or not Shalelu has seen any of the sites that were involved, and also then ask about the idea of what she was doing that she ended up falling across these bodies, particularly, for example, in the sawmill during winter. Was there anything that drew her to the locations or things like that previously? So.
Well, Shalelu talks about how she goes out goblin hunting on a regular basis. And some of the times Amiko comes along because Amiko just wants to get out into the wilds because she doesn't like being in civilization for too long.
I understand that, yeah.
Loves running in nature and just kept tripping over bodies in the snow and in the underbrush and stuff like that, where Shalelu quite happily leapt over whatever was obscuring her path.
So Shalelu was there for at least some of the discoveries of the bodies?
She was there for some of them. She can't believe that Amiko would stumble across 5 bodies in the wilderness. It's just, how would you expect to find 5 whole bodies in the wilderness?
Or at least, well, in case of Shalelu, she'd expect to find multiple bodies in the wilderness. Normally one she created. But then it's not like Shalelu would stumble over them. She'd spot them and then ignore them.
Well, that's true. She was commenting on the stumbling over bodies,
Exactly.
tripping over them before you see them.
And the in that case, then the opportunity to talk to Shalelu and say, okay, well, while Amiko was obviously writing up quite detailed notes either at the time or after the body had been brought back into town, was there any evidence or did you notice anything around that might have indicated what happened, who was involved, how many might have been involved?
Well, the winter storms have pretty much obliterated any tracks in the region. We thought we'd found some when it had snowed, but turned out to just be a hunter that walked nearby.
Snow demons then, okay. Spark starts writing that down.
But no tracks that were within the time frame of the dead bodies were discovered.
Okay. I noticed that seemingly one of the last group you found was seemingly one of the first ones that were killed up around near the old sawmill. Inside the sawmill or just in the vicinity of the sawmill?
I believe Amiko saw that one. She didn't worry about the rain, but Amiko got out of the rain in the sawmill using it for shelter and stumbled across yet more bodies, as she does. And
did Shalelu, did she call in Shalelu and say, hey, hang on, I've done it again, sorry, interrupting our morning picnic?
Is that what I might have missed this while I was talking to the doctor? Is the only person to find these bodies is Amiko?
Yep.
Is that right?
She's found 20 of them so far.
All the bodies been found so far, yes.
Isn't that awfully kind of
suspicious?
If she's in the room right now when I say that, I said no offense, but does anyone have a grudge against you that you find these bodies that might be making you find them? Like, do you have enemies?
Well,
yes, I've heard about your ramblings from Koya, but I'm wondering if is there somebody that has a thing against Amiko that makes her find these things, maybe?
Well, the only person she has issues with is her brother, who wanted to torture and sacrifice her to the goddess Lamastu.
Oh. That would make sense now.
The since it's come up at this point anyway, and Cord I might already know off the top of it beforehand anyway, but is her brother left-handed?
No, he's right-handed.
Right.
There's not a lot of left-handed people around Sandpoint, she says.
No. But certainly confirming with Amiko that her interpretation of the wounds definitely indicated left-handedness.
It does. She's one of the few left-handed people in town.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, but coming back a bit then, when Amiko found the bodies in the sawmill, talking to Shalalu, did you take the opportunity to see inside the sawmill where possibly the effects of the storm would have been less prevalent, even though they were older bodies? Any remains or traces or tracks you could find in there at that point?
Found lots of rodent tracks in there covering up most things. She's sure she saw at least one booted print that wasn't obliterated by everything else, including Amiko's travels. And it sort of looked like it was one of those expensive noble boots.
Mm-hmm.
Otehr.
But whoever it is, they had small feet.
Okay, so Miko's brother is this big noble of some sort or anything, or was he just a?
Well, I would remember him as being the Amiko family were relatively well off within Sandpoint. Like it's not like Sandpoint's got noble people or such per se, but they were certainly rich enough to have good clothing, good boots.
Now, hear me out here, Corda. So, Miko's the only one that found all these bodies. Her brother used to or still possibly worships a certain person that this is what built towards all these bodies. He may not be working. This person may not be working online, possibly. Shouldn't we find her brother? Is that something we should look at, or is her brother dead now? Gone a long time ago.
Well,
just asking these questions. Okay.
I would certainly agree that her brother appears to be a prime concern. Okay, because it was not so long ago that he caused significant problems around town, and think towards the others like Dusa, Harry, and Willie. Explained the fact that apparently he was allowed to leave town, presumably due to.
I wouldn't say be allowed to leave. He, the sort of sneaky prick who managed to escape.
Okay.
So.
I got the impression there was a discussion about, hey, he promised never to return or something, so if that wasn't part of that.
That was part of how he escaped the others.
Hey, let's put it this way. I was told never to return to your place and then turned up 2 days later. So things like that happen, and yet I'm not allowed to come back to your place till this time.
No, it's the like Corda when he's making that statement. That was me as a player misinterpreting what had occurred from the party's perspective.
Oh no, that's all. But I'm just gonna, if everyone's there, I think we need to look for if Miko's there, I think we need to look for your brother, because I have a feeling he knows what's causing all this.
And the other question I've got from Cordar's perspective, and he may be able to avoid asking Amiko, because he might know enough in himself, what is the relationship between Amiko and her brother? Or at least, it wasn't like at the time, but previously not growing up, what the relationship was? And then whether that's likely to have changed, or whether we understand whether that changed in the life after recent events.
Well, around the time goblins sacked the town at the festival, when all those kids died, she was captured by her brother with her father, and her brother killed her father, mainly because it wasn't his father, because he was a half-elf after all. and the half was the male side, not the the human side was through the mother, which is why he was only a half brother.
Yep.
And then he took her to Thistletop, where he proceeded to torture her for many months with the plans to sacrifice her to a demon there. But luckily, some of these guys, she said, pointing to Duza, Willie, and Parry, managed to free them and get them to Magnamar, where they spent many months in recovery.
Yeah, okay. I was pretty certain that was the case as a player, but I couldn't remember whether or not Cordar was aware of that earlier, or what was. So yeah, so
the notes from the characters at the time were that they believed they killed half of those who captured them, and the other half bartered a truce to leave, taking their gear with them as they left. And one of them being Tasuto, the half brother.
Okay, so a party that rescued Amiko did in fact allow Tsuko to leave under condition of no longer returning. Is that right?
Yes, they just didn't know the full extent of what they were up to, and
at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So it's safe to assume, but he will actually just confirm with Amiko that yes, you certainly have no concerns if it did turn out to be your brother, for us to bring him to justice at this stage.
I should rather you put him in the ground, but justice will work.
Hey, while I've got you, Amiko, on the side.
Cordar's version of justice was definitely involving putting him in the ground.
And she says, when you do, make sure that his head's separated so he doesn't keep coming back.
Okay, can do. This, and I'll ask Amiko for how much she knows. This demon that your brother was working with, would your brother go back to that demon possibly, but based on your knowledge of your brother at all? Just maybe to...
She has no idea. There's a good chance
Apparently probably never left.
Yeah, good chance that demon has a hold over him and possibly controlling his actions. You know, when you deal with demons, you start to lose your touch with reality, and start to hear voices and have strange symptoms such as some have rashes, some throw up bile. And she just goes on this whole list of horrible things that can happen to people with pacts with demons, realizing that you have probably had about half of what she's listing.
Yep.
And Cordar's going to add another one in here just as a random thought that goes to his head. And possibly become left-handed?
Possibly. She wouldn't expect him to be left-handed at all.
Because obviously Tsuko was right-handed, but if he's under possession of a demon, then possibly the demon is left-handed.
Quite possibly, she says.
Yeah. While I got you, Miko, and this is off topic a little bit. That receptionist is something you're in there.
Yep.
He was a bit rude to me the other day. Is he always like that?
Well, he tries to test anyone who comes in to see if they're worthy of staying. If he doesn't like them, he kicks them out.
Or he probably heard of the damage that you caused last time you were through.
Look, yes, I know, Corda. I'm trying to help you fix your house. I thought we'd gone over this already. It's like,
it wasn't just the house that got damaged.
And I look at Nico and said, he's got a long memory, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Week.
Yeah, okay.
I remember last week, yes.
A huge sigh from Sparky.
And don't worry, I'm working on a ballad for the week you were here for.
I can live with that.
Cordo saying, yes, I remember last week as he looked out the window and notices the fact the porch is still not, like there's still no roof over the porch.
It's been raining, I point out. I don't like getting wet. I don't have hair to cover my head anymore. It glistens off my head. You understand this reason, don't you, Cordo? Anyway.
For the moment, you'd be fixing it.
I'm going to help Shaylu, and if Shaylu tells me to go away, I'll go away. And if Shaylu's just going, no, you're not helping, and I understand now. So,
she's more than happy to ask you to hold the nail.
Yeah. I tell Corda I might need medicine check afterwards, but that's fair. Okay. Well, if everyone's in like Corda, Shaylu, everyone from the family kind of things there, are we on the assumption that we need to find your half brother and see if this all linked to him? Is everyone on the same
Well, I think
view of this?
the half brother is certainly someone who's worth finding.
Yeah.
Although if he's in the area, well, he needs to be found anyway, irrespective of the current.
Yeah, but I think, and possibly that the half brother might be working with somebody else that might be doing this for the half brother or something like that. There's possibly it might just be a linkage to what's happened here because it's too much. Go ahead.
I wouldn't be automatically focusing on the half brother because I'm assuming Pluto hasn't been seen in the area since the events of the Goblin Raid a few years ago. Is that correct?
He has not. She says.
So whilst yes, if he's returned, absolutely that's a big factor. But I think at this stage it would be better to just investigate the locations of the murders and where the bodies were found and the bodies themselves before making assumptions about exactly who the likely culprit is.
Oh, Sparky nods. In her mind, she knows it's straight away the brother. So, but she nods with agreement just to keep Corda happy. So, but I suppose I had one last question for Miko, and sorry to bring up your family, Miko. You don't have any other half family that might be similar to your brother that you're aware of that might do something like this as well?
She does not.
No offense. I'm saying no offense here.
She does not have any other family members.
Okay. Good. Okay. So okay, cool. Let's suppose get some rest and go out. We go investigate these sites. I think that's probably the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly, yeah. So it might take a couple of days before we can go out and check it, based upon
rain. That gives us plenty of time to fix up your house.
But I was going to say, Koya's estimate of when the rain will, how long the rain will last. So, and Koya's estimates are pretty accurate normally. So,
agree. But gives me plenty of time to fix up that railing at the front.
And so while we're going to stay there now, I know it was what's his name? Sparky's predecessor, gone out of my head.
Pimwinkle.
Pimwinkle, yes, sorry.
The person fully known as Pimwinkle, yes.
It was Pimwinkle that had the setup for Transporter Circle in Magnamar at the basement of the house, wasn't it?
It was.
Yes, into his mother's house, yeah.
And we haven't got access to that anymore, have we?
You do not.
No, but did Pimwinkle pass his Pathfinder back, or did we take it back from him? Or I can't remember back that far.
It was more the idea that Corda had a thought of the fact that, hey, if no one's got to destroy water spell, which is actually in the third party, like the Frog God game third party spell list type pieces. Mm-hmm. But yes, if no one's got to destroy water to try into the basement, maybe if you open the teleportation portal into Pimwinkle's old house.
Problem is, it will open it into the network, and then you'll flood the network.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't Pimwinkle's mother's house turned into a temple at one stage?
No, not Pimwinkle. I think Pimwinkle's mother's house may have been turned into a temple as well.
Yeah. But yes, it was just something that went through my mind as a player, thinking, hang on, I know how we can empty the basement. We'll just open the hole at the bottom. But yes, we don't necessarily want to flood all of the places around the various networks. So, but yeah, we'll start organising a bucket brigade for the next couple of days, probably to ensure that the basement does not completely flood, or possibly work out some sort of pump mechanism that can just pump it straight out to get a hose and.
Well, you have a whole 3 days to work on that.
Or in fact, actually, no. Fordyce's got a good way of doing it. You just have to take some time to empty his pouch. We empty his pouch in one of the other rooms in the house. Then you can open the pouch down the bottom there, close it up again, carry it outside. That should be a fairly effective bucket.
Yeah, especially when you can then just slap it on a wall and have it pour out of the side. It doesn't, or does it have to be flat? In which case, then you're gonna have a lot of fun bucketing it out of the hole.
I don't think it necessarily has to be flat, but I don't think that it'll actually penetrate a wall, because I think it effectively goes into an extra-dimensional space. So therefore,
I meant if you did it flat on a wall, the hole would then be sideways into the space.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't actually. It just open. My understanding is that it wouldn't put a hole in the wall.
No, I mean, as in, if you empty, say it has to be laid on the ground and you fill it up.
Yeah.
And then you take it outside and it has to be laid on the ground.
It might be hard to empty. Yes,
Yeah.
true.
That's what I was saying. If you then could lay it on the wall, it might then pour out of the hole after you filled it up inside.
Sorry, yes. I was picturing the idea of, I could put it on the wall on the side of the base, make a hole in the wall so it all goes straight out. But no,
Past wall would be that sort of thing, but I was thinking more along the lines of how do you empty it once you fill it?
How do you empty it? Yes, true.
Otherwise, we'd be like, I need those buckets again.
Or possibly, I could empty it because while it's in the pouch form, I could just turn the pouch upside down. Might take a little bit longer to pour out than it did to.
And they call me the crazy one in the party. They call me the crazy one in the party.
But yes. Anyway.
So we'll pick up next session in when the rains finally finish pouring down around you.
Yep.
When the rains have stopped being blessed in Africa.
Damn it! You did it before I got around to it.
Yes.
Okay, then. Well, thank you very much, all.
Josh, you're gonna say.
Yeah, this is shit dad humor you're talking about.
All works out well. So if you want to stay on, I can chat for a little bit afterwards. Otherwise, I will see you next game.
Yep.
But
Yep. Well, I'm gonna bid you all good night because the second session's just started. So have a good night, all. Thanks very much, Martin.
okay.
Yep.
Thanks all. Catch you next. Oh, actually, Martin, while I think of it,
Yep.
Tuesday session next week. I will probably have to finish up a bit earlier than normal because I've got to get going in the bus. I think a bus is scheduled about 10:30 or something like that. So, but I'll confirm it on the night. But yes, I will have to finish up a bit earlier than normal.
That's so good. Just let me know if you need to leave earlier.
All good.
All good.
Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Catch you later.
I'm out as well.
Okay. So
Catch you all.
have a good night.